surprised. I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here on the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalists loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.
It's just me. Sorry to disappoint you. I don't know where them other cats is at. Let me see if they reached out. No. Anyway, I hope you can y'all hear me? This is gonna be a good one because now I ain't gotta have to worry about being talked over and interrupted. Anyway, welcome to EYL. It's every Saturday. 11 Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. Don't ask me Pacific. Ask one of them weirdo California dudes. But you have a lot to get to. So let me just jump on the fight sheet because I don't remember where it is. Where that at, though? Sorry. Give me 1 second. It is Sunday, right? You know, I went out for a walk this morning and you know, I live in a Black community, therefore I'm completely surrounded by churches. And the only people that were out early this morning to get down on their knees and start pleasing Jesus was the Jehovah's Witness. So all you Baptists, Catholics, all you other Christians, except the Adventists, how y'all let the Jehovah's wickedness, the Jehovah's idiots get up and get to God's door step first? Those are the only people. Because I was out early. It wasn't like 6 a.m., like 9, 10 a.m. And the only church that had that where the believers and the parishioners were fully on deck was the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I walked past Baptists. I walked past AME. I walked past all the other Christian congregations in my hood, and none of them, the padlocks was locked. And it's something weird because I truly believe that when I was a little kid, that churches never locked their doors and that there was sanctuary. I think I saw it in a movie somewhere. And I thought that, well, in the house of the Lord, they don't need to lock the doors because that's God's house and everything in there belongs to the Lord, and who would cross the Lord and rob a church. Well, but otherwise, let's move on. All right. So first we're going to talk about the mayor. I don't know if this is going to come up on the thing. Had a complaint. Oh, it does come up. Wow. The mayor had a complaint that InvestFest admission prices, right? That the mayor of Atlanta said that InvestFest was going too hard in the paint. Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh, hold on. This is our first thing. Where that though? Okay, here it is. Oh, I got the wrong shit up there. Hold on. Let me take that off. There we go. All right.
Room. They don't rent a car and all that kind of stuff. So you want to think that your target audience, which is Black folks of success and of note, it's Atlanta. So, you know, let's lock in on what a future looks like. Let's come up with a community benefits package, because I ain't just, you know, you charge a lot for people to go to InvestFest. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get city support in that, let's talk about what actually supports the city. And I have great conversations with everybody. No matter what substantive conversation they want to have, you ain't got to go to New York radio to talk about ATL. Like that sound backwards. And then if you think you trying to start a bidding war, everything in New York costs 3 times as much. And InvestFest is 25,000 people. 20,000 of them live in Atlanta or Metro Atlanta, so they don't use a hotel room, they don't rent a car and all that kind of stuff. So you want to think,
and I was thinking, do you just keep it in Atlanta, kind of like how Essence just keeps it in New Orleans? Like, is it just one thing that it always stays there, or do you say, you know what, we take it to another city?
Its home has been Atlanta for obviously for the 6 years. We flirted with the idea just because, you know, the lack of support that we write. So yeah, it has all the things that would be beneficial to be in a city to have that type of event.
But it can move. It could definitely. To answer your question, Essence is locked in with the city of New Orleans. So Atlanta is home for now.
So what is Atlanta not doing to make sure they're comfortable? Because like you said, Essence knows.
Or ask the city for it if they've said no to.
I mean, it's just a matter when you work. So all right, this is good education, because it's like when you work with a city, there's a budget and there's different things that they can do.
Subsidies, municipalities.
So that's a lot of logistics. Anyway, are y'all too poor to get rich?
First of all, is my mic is everything working here?
Yeah, I hear you clear.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm too poor to participate in the conversation, apparently.
So if they lower the bar, if they had like a package for the paupers, a pauper package for InvestFest, then more poor people could get rich. So let's
look again. I mean, allegedly, but again, my thing is these dudes who have made a career off of promoting the efficacy of Black business to the detriment of politics are now essentially begging for political support to supplement or to that's not the word I'm looking for, but what's the word I'm looking for? But essentially to subsidize their operation. So it's another it's like when the professional sports leagues say we need the community to pay for the stadiums and the parking and the transportation, and then the private owners will walk away with all the money.
Well, couldn't we identify that as a maturing of them becoming actual close? Because I don't know, are we allowed to quote Chomsky anymore?
The preference is Parenti, obviously, and has always been, but
I'm sure Parenti would agree with this Parenti adjacent quote that capitalism is socialism for the rich. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't want to really get into the nuance, the inaccuracy of that statement, but we understand the public government resources being surrendered to private capital and private investors for their own personal enrichment. So public resources for individual enrichment. So now the fact that they're trying to get on the government teat, they're trying to get on the dole, and they understand that, every source of wealth in this country that claims to be free enterprise or entrepreneurial has deep ties to the state and access to state support, whether through policy or just raw, hard cash. So maybe they're maturing. Black capitalists are finally figuring out that they have been pushing the myth of capitalism, and now EYL is starting to embrace the reality of capitalism.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If I'd love to hear their messaging change to say this is evidence as to why we need to have public policy that takes care of all of the most important aspects of our lives, be it healthcare, housing, food. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think it's just another version of when Roland Martin goes begging for advertising, or when
among other things he begs for.
Apparently, because I was late, but I made it to Tasha K's live.
How did it disappoint?
No, and It was even
can
better.
We circle that? Can we maybe? Yeah. Look, can we circle around and back to that? Because we're just gonna bring him up with
phrasing.
We can circle around.
Like we'll circle back around and back to that in a moment, because I don't want to get distracted.
Yeah. Woo! No, you're right. You're right. Stay focused.
Let's pigeonhole. Let's
phrasing.
Look, $300. Y'all can't spare $300 to make $3 million.
Listen, again,
admission.
I am all for us taking up and passing the EYL collection plate and getting Geechee over there.
Geechee went a couple of years ago. That's why Geechee already rich. We need to send somebody who ain't been yet.
That's why he doesn't come back to the show anymore.
Right. Geechee already rich. He went 2-3 years ago.
And I thought we were going to have Skip today too, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I struggle. I just landed. So, I think $300 for. I mean, I've been to academic conferences that have charged more, and they don't promise me riches beyond dreams. And there's no celebrities at academic conferences.
Well, there are academic celebrities.
Well, I guess at this thing, there's rich, poor people. So I guess we can have these contradictory entities, all these rich, broke niggas and all these famous academics. I guess, yeah, imaginary entities. And God is there among us.
It's all relative. Some of us are big fish in small ponds. You know.
Right. Yeah, but it's a couple of things. I think it's kind of like when Dr. Fubar was first, running his school hustle. And he was telling people, you don't vote, don't engage with the state. We're going to do for self. And I'm like, I don't know if anybody that's involved, whether it's a private school, charter school, I don't know, education, formal education outside of just individual homeschooling and the state are deeply entwined. Even when you graduate your students, you're going to want your school to be accredited so that your children can take those credits on to higher learning. So I'm like, how could he be serious about opening a school while trying to shun and take a hostile stand to the state?
When he needs the state, as he's been arguing, has been the delay to sanction the zoning and the legality.
The health department got to certify your cafeteria if children are going to be eating there. So I think that.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that this comes up, it's something I've been looking at separately in terms of the Black university versus the HBCU. And, the argument about autonomous spaces for education, extra institutional, outside of the institution. And on the one hand, I mean, this is that paradox. On the one hand, yeah, you want to be able to teach one another outside of the institution. On the other hand, who's going to do it, on what pay, what students are going to want to take those courses, who's going to show up to take those courses, and then what are they going to be able to do with those courses in the current economy? So unless those questions are addressed, and I think there are ways to do it, we end up with this kind of vague silliness between what Umar is saying and what EYL is here proposing. But really what they all want, and this is true of even the most elite white colonial ruling capitalists. They want government and the so-called rule of law to protect and justify and create the society from which they can exploit and extract and live. And so there's always that little bit of a push and pull with all of that. And it's like, how much pretense to democracy do we want to offer versus what we really want, which is just enough of a quote unquote free society that doesn't ask questions and threaten the fact that a handful of us live off of all of what you all are out here doing.
Right. I think one of the best displays, one of the most detailed confessions of the Black elite, believe it or not, was Ice Cube's contract with America. Well, I think it was the 2024. No, it goes back further. But Ice Cube got together with a couple of Black economists and Black scholars and other Black businessmen and wrote up, and he was the front man for it. Because if you read it, he didn't write it. It didn't rhyme at all. So he didn't write it, but he was the front man for it. And the way that they talked about, they basically said capitalism is a great system. But basically Hillary Clinton's line, but it needs certain, clamps and brakes. And what they advocated for from the government to give the Black community was essentially saying, hey, set up a Black elite, a Black business, a Black entertainment, a Black, they didn't say it explicitly, but Black academic elite, and they will be the stewards of the Black masses. So reserve a place at the table of the ruling elite for the Black bourgeoisie and give us the bulk of the benefits, and we will disseminate those benefits and priorities and set priorities for the Black masses. And I've never seen a document of basically treason, of basically, hey, we're going to get with your program and we're going to get the Black masses in line. And we're going to stop these Black masses from all their discontentment, their riot, their petty criminality. We can get the Black masses in line to facilitate business and the imperialism of America. We will have no hostile stance against the interests of the elite of Americans if we can get a share of the spoils of empire that go to the elite. And I just reading that document, I was like, wow, this is a hell of a confession. Because I've never ran into a legitimate movement for Black people that wasn't hostile to investment in the investing class. And all of our so-called progress was in open hostility to the status quo and opposition to the status quo. And now we've got Black leaders, even the ones we deem as militants, even the ones that call the white man the devil, that have all surrendered. Like InvestFest is ultimate surrender to me.
Oh, absolutely. And I will always cop to this, just the paradox, the contradiction that someone asked in the chat if Claude Anderson had anything to do with the contract with Black America. I don't think so.
No.
But someone who did is Dr. Derek Hamilton, who did also write the foreword to my book. So which I think speaks to the unrevolutionary nature of my work. What's up, Geechee? And
I'm coming to work in a pajama shirt. I'm sorry, go on.
And the contradiction that of between our politics, that is his and mine, because we definitely disagreed on that. But I think and his argument is, I mean, Hamilton is very much in the camp of, we're not advocating for revolution or hostility, to your point. The advocacy has to be around rewriting public policy to create avenues for Black people to do better. So he would have had, I'm sure, if I don't remember the contract's been too long, but he would have, I'm sure, mentioned something about the baby bonds argument and making specific investment that was supposed to help Black people. But to your point, Diallo, it is absolutely a non-revolutionary argument, which is why in many ways, and I think again, it was a mistake that my attempt to write the buying power argument or book to not be revolutionary for the sake of the argument being heard, and then maybe in some fantasy getting to a revolutionary argument, was a mistake. And I should have just been more blunt and aggressive from the beginning, which may have precluded Hamilton signing on for the second edition. I don't know. But anyway, I just need to.
So I don't know.
And I don't hear this imbalance in our mics, by the way. So I don't know what to do about that. Anyway,
I don't know what else.
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you. but apparently we're
you.
being heard at different levels. But when I check in on the stream elsewhere, I hear it the same way. Yeah. So anyway,
Jared, I don't know if you you can feel it, Jared, but you created this cloud of smoke in Baltimore, and whatever you're talking about right now, I walked into that. I feel like I just been having that conversation at different levels since I got back to Baltimore. Whether it be with Center for Urban Families and some contract work I did with them, and Westmore came to use us as a platform to get big, and going back to talk to some of the elders I was working with and how they feel about Westmore, and anyway, and then on to the level of having a conversation. I met up with Dennis and then also Rashard Staten. I don't know if you know Rashard Staten, but he's the executive director for CLIA, Community Law in Action, and they kind of work with B360, and they intersect with Davon and them. But again, in these spaces, most of the people, most of the Black nonprofits in Baltimore, in my experience, from an outsider, they're antagonistic towards Davon and them because of Davon and them politics. But the stuff that when we argue about political power, and the stuff that we've been talking about on the ground, I remember Jabari having a conversation, and I was just trying to explain to him, like, yo, if you read Amos, you would probably come to a different conclusion, but I'm not sure if you studied Amos like I know I did. And when we talked about political power, Jabari kept having this same argument around the financial literacy and economic power. But, and I don't know if he ever admitted this, but when Davon helped him see a policy that was going to impact his barber business and get it passed, he never even mentioned that, like, this is kind of what we're saying. He just kind of like benefited from it. And I think something like, so anyway, because I'm back and I'm having these conversations, and then I'm actually, so my students are doing historical biographical narratives of some of their family members. They interview them, and then they'll tell their story, but then they also have like to try to develop a political analysis along with the story. And yeah, I just, when I heard you talking, because again, this is now personal, because remember, like it was Charlemagne who through all the conflict, when I would say like, yo, you should just bring Jared on, and then when it got to the point where like, I'm not going to bring him on because you're arrogant. Like he said that to me because I call him arrogant. He knew about you. He read, like, I mean, so he's fully aware when Killer might get on there and talk that stupid shit. Like he's fully aware of it. He knows exactly, but anyway, I'm gonna stop here. But I know y'all niggas watch these EYL stuff. I know y'all watching it. If you look at the interview with Boyce, which is kind of tragic. His little.
I never even got to it, man. I was hoping we would look at some of it today, but
it's on. I got it. It's on here. No, y'all didn't see the fight sheet.
Yeah, I saw the fight sheet.
But listen, I went through it and I watched the videos, and I'm just saying, I can tell 19 Keys is impacted by the work that we're doing, same way as Dr. Mayat. Because you remember, Jared, all these people are connected to like Baltimore, essentially. Dr. Mayat and the 19 Keys and the Boyce Watkins, they all. So
the Court's top thought leader.
That's a good interview for multiple reasons. I got some clips in here.
Okay,
but
good.
Yeah, it's just real life, man. Other than just being some niggas on the internet talking on the internet. Like I think it's funny how some of these conversations intersect, but like people, real life, you're like, yeah. So I can't wait to get to these clips.
Okay.
Shout out to Diallo for showing us how to develop a fight sheet.
No problem.
And because I like
Diallo was the only one on time today is crazy.
Well, apparently, so you know how communities develop some types of programs for whenever they see an issue in the community, and then the city come and take it over, right? The city take it over and they put funds behind it, and then after they put all those funds behind it, they go on national, like, well, the city leaders go on national TV saying they solve They saw violence. They fixed the shit. Westmore, you know, they in niggas' basement talking about they
West
fixed
taking
violence.
credit for everything.
But I said all that to say, wait, listen. I said all that to say, when, you know, I'm in a building that's, you know, the city got in West and them, and I had to run up and down the stairs because the elevator always broke. And I had to go get the food, and I had to, you know, deliver the food, and I'm sweating. I mean, I'm tired. And if the elevator, you know, since you're city people, if you want to take over buildings, maybe you should make sure that they got elevators working.
You running and getting food when you got all your disciples, I mean your students there with you.
He brought his
I'm on lunch break.
Still.
I'm on lunch break and I'm gonna cook these niggas.
EYL stands for eat your lunch.
I'm on lunch break and I'm gonna cook these niggas on lunch break.
You know,
get to the first story.
Okay, we done with the first story. We talking about people too poor to get rich because they talking about the price restrictions. But I also want to. I feel offended that y'all out here giving praise talking about Dr. Sebi. What was that?
Yo, the Cam James video. People need, if anybody has any questions, they do need to watch that new Cam James video.
Y'all didn't see my Dr. Sebi expose a year ago?
I must have missed that, and I apologize, or I don't remember it, which is also a possibility.
See, but go ahead. Yeah,
I mean, look, listen, we have every right. I'm never going to begrudge anyone in the African world for skepticism, and Black people have every right to be skeptical of the medical community, as is the case with anything, finance, history, any field. We just have to address those righteous concerns with rigorous research and I think science.
I think you're giving too much grace when you talk about, see, I did this a year ago. Dr. Sebi, shaman or con man. And people were going off on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people were going, I caught hell after I did that.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I agree. But these people are not being skeptical. They're not calling into question the legitimacy of medical science because they want accuracy. They're calling it in because they're trying to sell a product. They're trying to sell an alternative. So that's no different than why am I getting this echo? That's Geechee.
Geechee needs his headphones.
Oh, they're trying to sell alternatives. You know, so when you're giving somebody an alternative to something bad, that's not always a good thing. So alternative medicine creates as much harm as the standard medicine. So it's a big difference. I forgot
the numbers. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but when you look at when people talk about, they'll say, for instance, big pharma wants to manipulate us with the vaccines or this or that and that. What they always omit with that, and something I had never thought about until maybe a year ago, probably after I saw your video and forgot about it, is that the so-called alternative medical community is billions of times dollars larger than big pharma. In other words, the money being made off of holistic this and training that and course this and magic pill that and breathe this way and you can do detox. That community far outsizes economically so-called big pharma and the grift of the medical community, and there's no science behind it. That's the other thing. There's far less
regulation.
So
no oversight, no peer review, and you left over the overseas flights. There's people flying to Thailand, flying to Singapore. Remember, Coretta Scott King went to some holistic retreat when she was dying of cancer She went to some holistic retreat of this shaman in Mexico and went down there, and her conditions worsened and exacerbated. And she didn't survive that. Coretta Scott King was killed.
I didn't realize that. Well, I don't
even beyond that, you're dealing with the holistic kind of left in the religious community, the faith healing community. Mm-hmm. Jehovah's Witness, Michael Jackson and Prince's premature deaths can be tied directly or indirectly to their adopting of the Jehovah's Witness faith and the various medical procedures that are banned. The Christian scientist. So when you go beyond, just because a lot of times people look at these alternative hippie people, but there's a lot of mainstream, the entire Maha movement. The holistic alternative medicine industry is directly linked to the return of polio, smallpox, measles.
Yeah, we lost it. I see so many parallels to the other arguments we deal with on this show all the time. And to me, it's again, we've lost the plot in terms of an appropriate response. The response shouldn't be to holistically, pun intended, condemn the medical community. It should be to fight for a greater distribution of the benefits of all that science and research and medical knowledge and resources, a la Cuba. That should be the goal. Instead, we've been encouraged to spend billions on the fakest of the fake. And it's wild. You know, one of my mother's late friends had died of that when I was a kid. That was my first introduction to it. And I was like, "Where's your friend Sandra?" And she was like, "She's gone." And I was like, "Gone?" And she was like, "Cause she believed in that Jehovah's Witness stuff and got sick and was like, God will take care of it."
So really quickly,
now I said that Coretta Scott King was killed. Did I say that?
Man, listen, get out the chat right quick. Get out the chat. Listen.
Did I say Coretta Scott King was killed? Man, I literally said she died of cancer.
Diallo, we talk about labor, you know, and I'm on my lunch break, so I ain't got a lot of time. So don't be in the chat too much. But really quickly, I would probably agree. I didn't even watch that video because I don't. Multiple reasons why I didn't want to watch the video, but I kind of agree. I would, if I want to watch the conversation, I would go watch Diallo's video for a few reasons. But again, what I'm noticing as I'm coming through my whatever I'm doing with my life, y'all two represent like the who I found on the conscious community, like the thinkers of the conscious community, and actually, Jerry, I guess you juxtapose with both. Diallo, you all the people that's on the left, they don't think Diallo too radical for them. So
how you on the
left? No, listen. Only you would be able to ask that question that they wouldn't be able to understand. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, I think this conversation around. So even when you're doing this video, the conversations of how people are responding to like the Dr. Sebi's and even the Yaki or Yaku or whatever his name is, Yaki Awakening or whatever, right? Because right now he's on the EYL stage, and I guess like he made it out of that, like, you know, you could do this and you drink this and see Moss and and it really is a offspring of obviously Bobby Hemmett or whatever his name is, but Brother Polite and those areas. I'll finish my
he got caught.
Look at him running. The key word when you talk about big agriculture, big pharma, or big anything, the big is the key word. Your problem is capitalism. And capitalism, its main goal is not to cure disease or cure or address any society's ills or to solve any problems. Capitalism's goal is to generate profit. It can't do anything. It has to prioritize the generation of profit. So regardless of what techniques or treatments are available to the public, the first question that is asked by the globe holders, by the owners of the means of production is, can I generate profit from this? So we always are attacking the medical industry. We're attacking healthcare providers. We're attacking institutions that provide healthcare, Planned Parenthood, but nobody's attacking capitalism. When the problem with most of these industries that we don't distrust, well, two problems, is capitalism and racism. But we target, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So we reject viable medical treatments. I mean, it was extremely, I still get hell for me just articulating the facts around COVID and COVID protocols.
There's a lot of beefs around that. That's crazy too.
And what really blew my mind on that is when they were evoking Tuskegee in relationship to, because Tuskegee, what happened in Tuskegee was literally the polar opposite of what they were complaining about. Mm-hmm. Because in Tuskegee, there was a new treatment for an old disease. There was a new medical treatment. And it was, you could argue that it was experimental, but it was extremely successful treatment for syphilis. And they were denying Black people access in this particular region. They were denying Black people access to this new treatment. And the anti-COVID vax people were saying they were pushing this new treatment on us. So even if you were saying this is literally the opposite, because the people dealing with Tuskegee were advocating giving this new treatment that was being denied, where the people opposing were advocating that people reject a new treatment. So even in that, in understanding medical apartheid and how, or books like Acres of Skin, because racism manifests in experimenting without consent or knowledge, experimenting on vulnerable population, but it also rests on denying treatments and access to vulnerable population. And so when you got a population that is being denied access and being denied treatment, then you show up and say, hey, you should reject treatment. You're exacerbating the problem. You're not bringing remedies to the community.
And I haven't even fully locked in on Fauci's testimony and all that's kicking back up. So I've made a willful choice to avoid it. I'm not proud of the decision. I'm just admitting it. But I just know that is regenerating a lot of the madness and ignorance around these subjects, and the speed with which people rush to claim expertise is what, even beyond the details and the specifics, that is what. And again, I know people think I'm joking or making a bad analogy, but I really do mean it when I say that my biggest problem with, like, this is my problem with the LeBron versus Jordan argument. It's not about the argument itself. It's the speed with which people rush to reach conclusions based on silliness, and in something as simple as basketball, and as simple as this, that I thought in many ways is just unassailable, in the same way I would have thought a round earth was unassailable, or flights to the moon was unassailable, or something like that. Everything is just up for grabs without any particular method, without any particular research or investigation or reason and logic. It's so. But if Geechee's back, let's go ahead and move forward before he gets that, as I think someone put it in the chat, boss knock again.
Yeah, I'm a worker, man. I'm a worker. So okay.
You're working them? Who are you working?
I'm a worker.
Oh, so just, can we at least cover the conclusions about the Dr. Sebi?
The man didn't know what he was doing and wasn't offering sound science and medicine. And to the extent people that listen to him, they set themselves back, and all this stuff about alkaline and all this other. And
mucus being the source of all disease.
Like it's just so much that was misleading, and I've fallen prey to some of that over the years. Through not necessarily through him directly, but through others.
Listen, I've done it all. I've done the raw fruitarian diet. I've done it all, but I've always kind of taken a grounded approach. But my curiosity and my hostility for established norms has always led me to that shit. But I always keep 2 feet in the ground, though.
Yeah, that's ultimately the point. Yeah.
But I think. But the thing that caused Sebi to become a household word is that he defeated the New York State Supreme Court in a case. Dr. Sebi was charged. He was pushing the cure for AIDS and HIV. He was pushing a lot of shit back in the 80s and 90s. And in New York, he was prosecuted for practicing medicine without a license. And he was making a bunch of absurdist claims. But if you go back and read the document, he was charged for engaging in clinical practices without license or certification. And he won the case because his argument was, I am not practicing medicine. I am not prescribing medical treatments. I am not diagnosing sickness. I'm basically offering people insights into health and basically what the supplement industry does. I sell supplements and I share my own ideas, but I am not practicing medicine. I am not diagnosing or treating diseases. And so he was found not guilty of practicing medicine. And that victory in that case was manipulated into saying he actually had the cures that they said he didn't. He actually
it's the Cosby narrative. It's the way when people say Cosby's innocent because he's not locked up, and they leave out the fact that he's not locked up because he had to admit that he was guilty as part of the plea deal that now lets him be out of prison. And they've twisted that into some sort of innocence. It's like no, he's out because he admitted he's guilty. In the same way, Sebi is out, or quote unquote won his case because he admitted, I'm not practicing medicine.
Right.
I'm not doing shit. And then people turn that into, he proved that he had the cure for AIDS and they shut him down. Nah, that's not what happened.
So to connect back to what so basically Diallo and Jared, y'all doing too much thinking. You do too much analysis, too much science, right? But kind of to my point, right? On a community level, experiencing the conscious community, what I assume the conscious community, and experiencing the left, the radical black left, right? And and there might be another name for it. This is how I'm experiencing it, right? The African-centered conscious community, the radical left, whatever. They don't intersect. Like Baba Baruti, for instance, is not going to be on Black Agenda Report and shit like that. I mean, he'd probably be antagonistic towards them.
Yeah.
So Baba Baruti represents the conscious community. And what I'm saying, functionally...
Your conscious community.
Huh?
He don't represent my conscious community.
That's not what I'm... this is why Jared... This is why Jared is important. This is why Jared is important because it's like one of the reasons why you're important. I'm sorry. Because you're...
To be a buffer?
No. Just to help you remind you that sometimes when you're talking to different audiences. Diallo just talked to one audience one time, and we be talking to different audiences. But anyway,
I talk to the people.
The conscious community. Let's get to the news. I was about to give y'all. I was about to give y'all your flowers. I was about to give y'all your flowers, and he was interrupted because I was going to split the flowers. He wanted all of them, so he just. So never mind. I take the shit back. I take the shit back.
You can have a flower.
Y'all get no flowers. Go to the fucking story. Let's go to the story. No flowers.
All right. So you said you had the clips for
Boyce in EYL.
Yeah, I put them in the run sheet, brother. I mean, I'm sorry,
what?
The fight sheet.
Oh.
Hey,
Okay,
Jared, we're gonna have to teach Diallo how to organize the run sheet a little bit.
That's right here. But it's just the video. Huh?
Jared taught me, Jared is a professor. He's a teacher. So Jared taught me that there's a better way to organize the run sheet. And so I started organizing it better. And now you got it. And you like, I don't know what you're doing.
The way I did it ain't good.
Nah, you did a good job.
It's a cooperation, not a con. We're supposed to make each other better.
And you see how he gets sensitive. He dish it. but then when they come back, now he ready to do. I ain't doing
No.
anything.
Just reminding y'all. Is this where you wanted to start, Geechee?
Yeah, this is one of them. So Boy said a lot of things here. And let me start here.
He wearing that quarter zip.
No, listen. Let me start here, Diallo. This is important. Sometimes when we talk on this camera, we're talking like these people are villains and these are all stories and like these people are far out there. But like some of these people like really believe what they be saying. Like so I remember I always tell Jared, I'm like, they lying. I always said when this guy, when I be saying like they lying and Jared be like, oh, I won't say they lying because they kind of really believe it. So listening to Boy's story, Boy said that both of his daddies was on crack or drug, like something. Like both his daddies, his real daddy and his stepdaddy. Right?
Damn.
He kind of mentioned some stuff about his mama, and I'm like, okay, so so two crack daddies, and so I was like, okay, so that's probably a rough environment that you're coming up in, right? Mm-hmm. And he's talking about he's talking about on his joint, and he's saying like all throughout class he was failing, he couldn't get the math, and like but. So anyway, seeing these people, Boyce Watkins is out of his mind. But Boyce Watkins, if you listening, some of these things that you said about criticisms, we're gonna play this clip, and then I'm gonna get my brothers to respond to it. And I know you listening, I know you watching. Probably gonna see you in a couple weeks. So let's play the clip, and then I want y'all to respond because this nigga he believes himself.
To have somebody that becomes a critic, and how you process that really is a growth opportunity, because in the beginning, maybe you just want everybody to like you, right? Why don't you? I'm trying to be helpful, and then the worst thing about criticism is sometimes it's accurate, like you really made a mistake. But then sometimes it's out of thin air and it's not even true. And you have to be able to accept both, right? You have to accept the fact life ain't fair. Sometimes people are going to lie about you. But then sometimes you have to say, man, I got to acknowledge the fact that you pointed out a real weakness that I have. Mm-hmm. And so this is where mental health and therapy become really important, because the thing that gives me confidence is the journey I took to learn how to love myself. Self-love and self-confidence are siblings. If you love yourself, not just the good parts, not just the part that's winning, but the parts that are flawed, that make mistakes, where you say, oh man, I can't believe I did that. If you learn to just love yourself in that way, then you become confident, right? You can walk in and you mess up. Somebody says, oh man, he's stupid, da-da-da. Look at him, they're making fun of you. You're like, yeah, I did mess that up. You know what I mean? Like you can do it because you know that does not take you out of the game. You see? So
how far?
No. Right, a little bit more. This is it right here.
To me, the attitude you have about yourself and your purpose and all that, and you've locked in on your purpose, like you're mission driven, you can get in a zone where the criticism will happen. But what? Okay, what you said, it might be true, it might not.
It might be true.
I'm not walking away from this.
I ain't walking away from this bad.
The other thing too is you got to be careful with critics, because if you spend too much time trying to appease the critics,
go ahead. You can cut it off.
You're gonna not fulfill your purpose, because the people that really support you're gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
So voice them, because again, Jared, you know Dr. Mayat. Like, y'all have conversations, we have conversations, and I don't know if you talk to Boyce, but like y'all know each other. He know you just as well as you know him or know of you. And some of the criticisms are hitting them. And it's hitting them, and they're being honest. They're saying, like, it could be you actually can be right. And he says, I'm not walking away from this. Every city is calling. This dude is comparing himself to Garvey. He literally said, like, I'm like Garvey and Claude Anderson, and so he's like so imagine Tamika Mallory says she's the new Al Sharpton, and this clown saying he's the new Claude Anderson, and both of them think they saying some shit. They believe it.
Well, Claude Anderson, man, didn't he go ADOS on us?
Who's surprised? Where the bag at?
I was. That hurt my heart.
You crazy. They was in the speaker circuits, the chicken circuit.
Y'all speaking from now. Back in the 90s, Claude Anderson was the man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I used to be. Listen,
Diallo. The pimp came by. The pimp came by, and then he started tricking on Claude Anderson. You saw it in the Hidden Colors documentary.
I agree, but I was a member of the Harvest Institute. Go back and look at those old newsletters and reports put out by the Harvest Institute, which was the first that I know of Black think tank. And in the 90s, they were putting out some good work. Now, I being a socialist, I couldn't get with the capitalist aim. So their analysis was on point. The problem was the remedies that they proposed based on act. So you can propose a bad remedy based on good analysis. And you cannot tell me that Claude Anderson's breakdown and analysis was not.
Listen.
At that time.
Yes. Ask Yeshatella. Claude Anderson was seriously like Claude Anderson wasn't. He was trained. He worked for some people down in Florida, a governor in Florida or something like that.
For Carter? Wasn't he on
yes. So
our last good liberal president.
Again, Claude Anderson, Andy Young, the healing grifters. This is the point I was trying to make, Diallo. This is how susceptible the conscious community is to grifters versus how susceptible the left people is to grifters. Because the conscious community, they just don't. I mean, it's almost like they're not conscious. They're not thinking. Like there's no critical thought. Like in fact, I had one of the elders in the community. Like he a big one. He one of the biggest ones. He was like Geechee, like you're thinking too critical. It's like that makes sense, but you're thinking too critical. But when you go to the left in the movement space, it's just analysis paralysis. Like they can articulate it, but when it comes to applying it, we have some problems.
But Claude Anderson did a complete. As he lived long enough to, because literally Claude Anderson said one of the biggest injuries that white America inflicted upon Black America was limiting and restricting Black immigration from Africa and the Caribbean. He said every other ethnic group in the United States has greatly benefited from active engagement and fluid migrations from their quote unquote homeland. And limiting African and Black Caribbean access greatly hampered our ability to build this power-nomical infrastructure, these Black economic enclaves that other groups had. So how do you go from literally saying that Black migration from Africa and the Caribbean is our greatest assets that Black Americans can take advantage of, to condemning it and get on some ADOS bullshit in the same fucking lifetime?
Look, in 2004, I think, when I was doing radio in DC, I reached out to his office to talk about the Harvest Institute. And I agree with Diallo with a lot of what you're saying about. I thought Powernomics was at the time great. I learned a lot. I was, and his office told me, the woman that took my call told me he's not doing interviews anymore because it's too late.
Yeah, he gave us a deadline.
He said he said the Black community is locked out. Now he's focused on his fish and seafood efforts.
And
that's exactly what.
He started out with Carter administration, right? So basically, he was working for the Democrats, right? His political training and all that stuff was officially under that. What Jared, you said something? No, not you. The end of your clip when you had I know you joking, but it's cool. When Carr is saying what he's saying, everybody's listening to that. But the last clip, you left in what Nick Cannon says. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that most people listen to the last part what Nick Cannon says. They listen to everything and so what Nick Cannon is saying is how easy it is for you to kind of get grafted into the conscious community. Like the conscious community, that's how uncritical they are. You're legitimized for a particular. Boyce is doing the same thing, exactly the same thing. Boy, look at Boyce as a professor or whatever he's doing, and then and again, this is no. I'm not trying to shame or whatever, because I played football, and my college football coach, he ran the team in the damn ground just to get a big salary, and then he got some new teeth with it. So I understand this, but if you look at Boyce, if you look
on
at
here settling vendettas.
No, I'm just saying. When you look at Boyce, you could tell the conscious community like just snatched him up, or one of them is playing one of them. I don't know who's playing who, but Boyce got accepted into the conscious community and put up on some pedestal because of his Kentucky's. I was a professor at Kentucky. You heard the story. Like I went teaching to the white people, and the white people didn't want to listen, so I came to get my people and liberate my people. And the conscious community fell for it, and now we here having to deal with Boyce. So there's some
there's not enough gatekeeping.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in many cases, our communities are suffering from the last most vicious attack on the more radical elements of our struggles, and it's left this vacuum into which a lot of these nonsensical arguments and folks can step in. So that's why I keep saying, I think if folks, to Diallo's point, keep their feet on the ground with a bare minimum inclusion of socialism in their argument, everything else can emanate from there, including all of the African-centered arguments around nation building and et cetera and so forth, and African cultural perspectives and worldviews taking hold. None of that can happen, I think, absent the some form of a collapse of what currently exists. And socialism is a grounding of just making sure everybody has a fair share of what is being produced, helps mitigate against some of the grift. But anyway, yeah.
I think it is very sad. I was going to say dangerous, but I don't know if we could even talk about more danger. I think shit is pretty much as bad as it could possibly get. But when you have 19 Keys, a man who sells you gold-infused water, and literally wears the visage of former cult leaders with his galaxy crescent star kufi. So you have the holistic, otherworldly, supernatural component come together with the financial literacy and prosperity politics. And you sprinkle a little bit of mysticism and Afrocentricity on top of financial literacy and economic integration. That is a toxic mix that's going to take us a whole nother fucking generation to come up out of. So because Geechee was talking earlier about like the Afrocentrics, return to the motherland, we was kings and queens, didn't really rock with the people who would do, engage Ford with his historical and his very sober and thorough political and historical analysis. So people who want to talk about, Black folks using telekinesis to build the pyramids did not want to deal with, those who were doing strict analysis of COINTELPRO and the Nixon administration, because they were like, oh, that's man's world. So if those two worlds come together, it's going to create a mind fucked that's going to take us another generation to dig ourselves out of. So I don't like Martin and Keys sitting together, and you got Martin talking about self-love and holistic in the world. And even as someone has said in the comments earlier, capitalism has captured holism and holistic, and even the whole mental health thing is now having a therapist is like having a Gucci belt and a Goyard bag. Oh, yes. And people brag about their therapist and the ability to afford a therapist like they brag about their new luxury vehicles. It's another accessory for those with well-resourced individuals who can afford this shit. And nobody's dealing with the fucking core societal issue that's driving everybody fucking off a cliff, that's causing all this despair. And, nobody's talking about Marxist analysis of alienation.
Mm.
You know, Marx is one of the most prophetic people, man. Everybody talk about Nostradamus. Marx's predictions played out better than Nostradamus's. Anyway, I guess, but
because they were based in a reality. But yeah, absolutely.
And nobody give him credit for it.
Nah.
Do you want to do a run, hide, fight, infidel, or are we going to Kanye on Palestine?
It only gets
Geechee's
better.
off yelling at his disciples, huh?
It only gets better from where we were to Kanye and Palestine.
But Kanye, as fucked up as he is articulating the viewpoint of a lot of stupid motherfuckers. Kanye, but I'll just play it, man. It really pisses me off. But the comments are more disturbing than what he said. I think this is it. God, I hate this man.
But don't pull me to that conversation. I got 14 kids dying every week in my city. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about that.
Yes. All right, thank you, Con. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Kanye. Your thoughts on Palestinians? Crazy and misinformed. Palestinians?
What'd you say?
Your thoughts on the Palestinians?
I don't have enough information on that. I'm straight up from south side of Chicago, born in Atlanta. I don't have enough information. It's love for everybody, but don't pull me to that conversation. I got 14 kids dying every week in my city. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about that.
Yes. All right, thank you, Con.
What the fuck is his city? Malibu?
Wait,
Beverly Hills? What city?
This is brand new?
Yes.
Yeah, that's wild.
14 kids every day.
Oh, somebody's asking if it was old. First of all, you can't want to be a leading voice in everything and then claim ignorance in one of the biggest stories happening in the world as a reason to not, that's one thing. A second thing is where I am actually sympathetic to the argument, particularly around Black people here in this country, saying, I have enough going wrong in my neighborhood to be asked about this. That is the reactionary reaction to that. So there are so many other things. I mean, this, just even going to the King quote about the bombs you drop on Vietnam explode at home. There are so many other ways that he could have made that point in an appropriately political way, were he to be the studious political figure that he wants to sometimes present himself to be. And that I think fraudulently, like the person asking him this question, many in the mainstream press want him to be. That there is this fraudulent desire among the mainstream to want to ask Kanye his thoughts on Palestinians, knowing he's going to say something incendiary, stupid, politically backward, something that they can get clicks off of and not have to engage any actual. In other words, if you want to have a substantive conversation comparing the Black experience in the United States to what's happening in Gaza, there are other people to ask. There are other places to go for that discussion and to have a real substantive conversation. So it's fraudulent from that starting point as well. And then just lastly, I mean, at this point, especially with someone of his resources and intellect, and I don't think he's stupid. He should not find it difficult to be caught up on not only what's happening to Palestinians, but also more politically appropriate ways to articulate the point that, while you're asking me about Palestinians, you're not doing anything to support people in my own community.
Well, what would he want a journalist to do? Their job is to ask questions. But beyond that, Kanye had no issue accusing the Jews of harming his individual career. The Jews getting in the way of him asserting his and securing his fortunes in fashion. He got on social media and was talking about the Jews hampering his. So you can talk about the Jews hurting your personal pockets, but you can't say nothing about the Zionists and their genocidal campaigns. That's when you don't know enough. When you've spoken on everything,
it stops
you
at
talking,
Jews, but ends at
you shut
Zionists.
this motherfucker. And if he would just be a minstrel, if this motherfucker was just a minstrel, I would say, well, agree. But this motherfucker sat across from the president. This motherfucker had his Donda organization, and this motherfucker has. It wasn't that he was dragged into politics and commentary on current events. He wasn't dragged or forced. He, nobody's asking Trick Daddy these questions. So when you take someone like Ice Cube, Jay-Z, Kanye, who use their personal wealth and fame to insert themselves into the political arena, that's something totally different than just somebody like, hey, I don't think anybody would ask Glorilla that question. And you also are making a fortune based on your perceived broad understanding and your simple, because he even in that segment talking about, first of all, homicides in Chicago are down almost 50%. There are not 14 kids dying every week. The homicide rate is less than half that on a weekly basis. I just went and looked it up like, God damn, bodies dropping and I live here. So maybe that's where in Malibu, like, damn, Kanye West is trying to walk down the street with his half-naked white woman and he having to step over 14 bodies a week.
How dare he have to do that when he's walking down the street with his half-naked white woman?
Right. So Kanye went from literally saying, promoting all of the anti-Semitic talking points. Kanye was spewing every single, and less than 2 years ago, spewing every anti-Semitic talking point to running and hiding under a rock. And then he goes from articulating anti-Semitic talking points to articulating racist, because Fox News and the right-wing media is promoting the idea that Chicago is this hellscape of Black death. When Trump was trying to get the National Guard in our streets, saying that Chicago is this hellscape of people dying every day. When the red states, Memphis, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas has a higher per capita homicide rate than Chicago. But because Chicago is a blue state, from the state capital to its major cities is a major blue state, they want to promote the idea that this city, there's a pro-union administration in Chicago, a progressive pro-union mayor. So they need to say, oh, this is a Democratic state and a Democratic city, so bodies are falling everywhere. So even when he's trying to fucking be apolitical, he's still pushing right-wing talking points. He's still advocating and pushing right-wing scare tactics and hysterics.
Yeah.
I hate that man's guts. And somebody out there, all these people out here calling him a coon and something, how the fuck is he selling out arenas from coast to coast? He's about to come here to a Chicago Bears stadium, and that shit gonna be sold out. So some of y'all coons, I don't blame Kanye. I blame all y'all niggas out here buying them ugly ass shoes, streaming that stupid ass shitty fucking music and showing up to his shows.
These are probably the white fans.
I don't. Is it though?
It's just a guess.
You think it?
I mean, who's buying all these tickets to these shows?
Nah, look at that. Look at the crowd. Chance the Rapper. No, it's a lot of black. It's a multicultural kaleidoscope. Oh wait,
you gotta put it back on screen.
Huh? Oh, you want to? Okay, I'm just looking at Kanye concert crowd. No, not that. Let me. It's a multicultural kaleidoscope. If we're looking, it's mostly white, but they got the money.
That's
still
what I
too
mean.
many blacks. Look at that girl's edges. She black.
One is too many.
I can't see her face, but I see her edges. She's black. Look at that brother right there.
You've been identified by your edges.
Girl right there.
White girls
another
don't have
sister
like that.
Right. Another sister back there. Too many black people. So I think the biggest obstacle to black folks showing up to Kanye is the monetary thing. It's not because they don't agree with his politics. But anyway.
So, while we're talking about Chicago rappers, there's another one right on the fight sheet,
God,
right?
What? Kanye, listen, this city is a haven for traders. Are we going to that? Are we going?
I just thought it made sense.
That bony homie from Stony.
I want to get to the boys clips. I was hoping Geechee would be back to lead us through that.
Geechee sent me one clip. He sent me one clip from that thing. So, and it's like what, a 2-hour interview. So I don't know if you know the points that you wanted to highlight there.
I don't. I haven't seen any of it. That's why I was asking if I was hoping he would come back because I didn't watch any of it. I don't know what there is.
So, but also I want to talk to because that sentiment is whatever's going on in Palestine ain't got nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we went from when the black community was looking at overseas conflict, we went from no Vietnamese ever called me nigger to, you know, we got our own problems, forget them.
Yeah.
And even if you go to the research of someone like John Judge, Israel is a laboratory of oppression. The technology used to survey and suppress black communities in the United States was developed and tested in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The tactics of urban warfare, urban surveillance, and urban repression, one of the chief exports of the nation of Israel is surveillance and urban suppression tactics, because they had 2 literally open air prisons. For the last half century, they have been deploying everything from psychological warfare to drone surveillance and target assassination. And they have exported that. The cop that killed Mike Brown was sent overseas by the state of Missouri on a grant from the state of Missouri. He was sent to Israel for urban tactical training and policing tactics. Every single fascist and scumbag in the United States is training in Krav Maga as we speak.
He didn't even do he should have done the MAGA thing and said, stop sending all this money overseas that could have been used for our
America
job.
first. Right. He could have America first. How is he further to the right than Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point, or even Candace Owens?
Hey, where we at now, man? I'm sorry, y'all. Where we at?
There's never been an oppressive or genocidal regime that was content to operate. There's never been a repressive or genocidal regime that has been content to operate within the confines of its own border. There's never been a imperialist, genocidal, oppressive regime that has been content to function and operate within its own defined borders. Every single genocidal regime has also had imperialist aspirations or ambitions. So Israel has designs on the United States and the African continent. So there is no black person that can say Zionism has nothing to do with us, even if you are either indifferent or hostile to the Palestinian people.
So let me show you how this connects. So in my with the students, we this Sunday today we're gonna be talking about man, why you always doing that, bro? You don't have 15 hours and 17 minutes to talk uninterrupted.
People all over the world and teaching them stuff. What am I doing?
Anyway, so my young people are reading and having a conversation around Audre Lorde's a master's tool should never or could never dismantle a house and whatever. And
the
so,
dumbest state. I don't like that state.
Well, not so much the statement. Have you ever read the pamphlet? Let's just start there. Have you ever read, right? And so I don't know where the statement went at, but the pamphlet, I don't know if the pamphlet delivers where people have took the statement, right? I just think people just using shit. But what I am about to say in terms of how Audre Lorde, and then this is a speech, right? This is a speech at a conference, and then it turned into a little pamphlet book. But she put to rest the argument around art being art being not political. Like all art is political. I think she put that to bed on the first part of it. The other part she go into other things. But one part when she started critiquing the white feminism, the white feminists, and how they block people that's more radical than her, right? And then when June Jordan critique the Zionist Jew, and she gave her that critique, Audre Lorde had the power, along with Barbara Smith, to block June Jordan's critique of her and Zionism from being published. So she literally did the thing she was critiquing the white feminists for. She literally did to her more radical feminist comrade. And so anyway, I don't know. I think some of the I'm curious about when we having these conversations. There's the voice walking out the world, and there's these different response to like what is to be done about it, right? Jared, I came up in radio, right? And I think I'm getting, I guess because I'm 40 and y'all making me remember that I'm 40, but I remember like hearing a lot of stuff on radio. I remember like Jim Roheim and like those Les Browns and those speakers or whatever. And I just see 19 Keys and these people are literally like the new version of that, because again, if you listen to like his opening before he even start interviewing Boyce, he's like he sounds like a Tony Robbins and Les Brown and John Maxwell and those people, but he's doing it in a more like radical sense, and he's taking the criticism from that he's hearing on the left. Because the one thing I also remember one time, I think one of Two Black's friends was hosting hosting 19 Keys, and I think it was us. Maybe it was a show that we was doing. And the way we critique them, the dude who hosted 19 Keys got upset. And so Two Black was like, oh, he introduced us, and I was like, but so I'm saying like these, like we're close, so these people are being impacted by the stuff that we're saying, right? I don't know that, and this is the argument. I don't know that if when we critique is our goal to change these people's ideas because these are real people that we're gonna have to interact with. Like for instance, again, if Killer Mike, Andre Dickens says, after all the little back and forth, he says, well, we need to talk about a CBA or something, a community benefits agreement. Because Andre Dickens know that these cats was making so much money to the city. They done had Tyler Perry on stage. Now they got the corporate dollars investing. Andre Dickens is like, which can again show politics is over this economic analysis, the politics. I don't know. There's just a couple. There's a couple.
So let me just say this before I forget everything. One, let me just be clear. For me, my show, working with Saturdays, working with you all, primarily for me is for me. I just have to be real at this point. I do this because I get more intellectually, comedically, familially, communally from this than I'm getting from most anything else at this point. I just have to be real. So after that, I would like to think that I and we offer Black people in particular African people more broadly, and progressive, anti-colonial, working, struggling people all told. Can I mute you, Diallo? That it's just.
Oh, sorry.
It's super distracting. Thank you. Is what I would like to think is that emanating out from that we have an impact on offering people some of the same thing, some fun, some intellectual break from the norm, some analysis, something that as my godfather would say, that talking about doing radio, that they can take to the water cooler at work. In other words, that they can bring to their discussions that they're having wherever they're having them, and be like, and then I would like to think ultimately that we're informing political organizations and encouraging political organization and movement building and militancy and all of that kind of beautiful stuff. So that's one thing. From what I heard at the beginning and then back to this last point, it's disingenuous for them, and I haven't seen any of it, but to the extent that I understand what you're saying, it would be disingenuous for Boyce and 19 Keys or anyone else to indirectly, vaguely, without naming it, claim that they are hearing criticism and in some positive way responding to it. What would be more honest would be for them to do what we do. Here's a clip of what they're saying. This is where we think they're either right or wrong. Again, I'm not even at this point, I'm not asking for interviews and conversation, none of that. None of that. Just be honest. Here's what Jared or Diallo or Geechee or anyone else, this is what they said. Here's them saying it. And now we're going to take that clip of them saying it and build, either respond. And then if we're saying something that you are accepting the criticism of, say, look, man, again, the way I think we've all done variations of so-and-so says something critical of me. They're right. Here it is. Let's go. But to say just vaguely, I hear the criticism and I respond to it, is nonsense.
It is.
So,
Diallo, so on a political analysis, I want you to respond to this. So EYL comes out and start this thing where they can monetize all these people who want to be famous online. You got everybody want to be content creators, and EYL is about to create this thing where they can make a bunch of money off of that, convince the corporations that they can make money. The corporations start to rock with them. The black celebrities are already messing with them. And now they take a shot at the person in political power. And Andre Dickens respond. They going back and forth. They got the offices responding. I'm sure Andre Dickens is talking to Tyler Perry, who been on their stage a couple times. I'm like, and Killer Mike and all those other people. But they're kind of going back and forth. And I want you to see what I don't know if you would watch this video of Andre Dickens is now because I think it's happening this weekend. And Andre Dickens is now there, and he's on the stage, and he's calling him on the stage. I want you to share your analysis of what's happening on this EYL stage.
You're faced with two choices. You either build or destroy. And in the great city of Atlanta, we want to make sure that we continue to build bridges forward.
There is a leader of this city, and I want y'all to help us welcome this leader right now.
Mayor Andre Dickens, Mayor of Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome to Atlanta, stacking hammers and bows, back to the mackin' and jacking the clothes, adolescents packing a bow, a knock on the door.
What's up, Atlanta? Me and the brothers of Earn Your Leisure of this Invest Fest, we had our necessary conversations this week. Atlanta is a special place. It's one of one. It's a unique place. I want you to put your boats in the water in the ATL, because we are about to rise the tide in the A. And so as we go forward, me and these brothers, we're going to talk about 2027 Invest Fest and how we're going to talk about the developments of investing in the city of Atlanta on the south side. Are y'all ready to invest in the ATL?
Hell no. Like, So again, I'm on the board of Pittsburgh Neighborhood Association in Southwest Atlanta. Been there for almost 3 years, and some of the things that we're working on in the community, trying to stop the city, well, hold the city accountable to doing some of the things that they should be doing on their property, because the city own property in our neighborhood. But this is the last neighborhood before it's about to get gentrified, blah, blah, blah. There's been these social media things where people are talking about, oh, you should invest here, and it's popping up. And there's in the community that I live in. Killer Mike is commenting, oh, I should buy that. I'm going to buy that. You remember Killer Mike doing rent to own. He's bringing in somebody in there. Now Andre Dickens is on stage saying that, come and help us invest in South Atlanta or West Atlanta. But Diallo, in one video in response, he said, like, y'all did it wrong on that Jasmine brand video. Y'all did it wrong. Y'all talking stuff about Atlanta from another city. Maybe we could talk about a CBA or something, a community benefits agreement. And Andre Dickens is pretty much saying, like, you this money that you're bringing in my city, I want some of that. Is that what you're reading, or how you feel about his response to EYL?
My bottom line is investment in the capitalist context means you put in as little as possible to extract as much as possible. Anybody that is talking about investment is talking about predatory exploitation. Because if it's just about investment, then we will be celebrating all the money the venture capital. Look at where all of the venture capital money is going, and look at the environment surrounding those venture capitalists. Look at the quality of life and the environmental impact of investment. Investment is not a good thing for the target. It is a good thing, you could say, for the ones who have the capital. So I have a lot of capital and I want to invest it. The targets of my investment are vulnerable because I got this big lump of money, and my goal for investing this fucking money is to increase this pot of money. It's not philanthropy. So I got a lot of money and I want to make it more money. And then I go into a poor community that has no money and invest in a poor community that has no money. How is investing in a community that is poor going to increase my pot of money? Because that's the purpose of investment. So just the logic of investment or investing in a poor community to make it better, where the fuck is the logic of that? Because you're going to be extracting more than you put in.
Hey.
So even if you bring some revenue, economic activity, whoop, 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 you're going to take more out than you put in. Number one. Also, when they talk, like the guys up there talking about, Atlanta has one of the highest income, the highest level of income inequality of any other state of comparable, any other city of comparable size in that region and beyond.
In the whole United States.
Of the affluent Atlanteans has not trickled down to the masses. It is also a fairyland, a land of prosperity for multinational corporations, hostile and predatory government agencies from the CDC to Cop City. And, when T.I. said it's our Wakanda, it is a capitalist Wakanda. So, and when you look at the programs that actually brought prosperity and how they define those programs, going back to the New Deal, they talked about projects, reforms, and programs. They don't talk about investing. Unless there's some fundamental change in how wealth is capped, how you limit the ability to accumulate wealth, the ability to move capital, and mandate the overseen, strictly regulated redistribution of wealth, you're not doing shit for anybody except helping parasites to prey on vulnerable populations. That's all InvestFest is. Are you going to be the host or the parasite? And you got a bunch of people who are hosts who are scrambling to become parasites. It's no different than the colonizers pulling up on the shores of Africa saying, you either bring me a boatload of niggas or you get on the boat your damn self. And then the niggas that chose, hey, I'll bring you a boatload of niggas to avoid to be on the boat, pretending like they're part of the economy. We are the human resources. So this is a very unfortunate time in the larger struggle. This Black people embracing the language, the practices, and the ambitions of capitalism, whether it is through investment, property, or even high level of education for the purpose of going into a government agency or this is the highest form of surrender. This is not just the surrender of admitting defeat, but this is the surrender of becoming a willing asset and ally of your oppressor.
Listen, it is a microcosm of the bigger Black capitalist buying power, advertising grift. It is, they get, obviously what was done and all the whole point of them going on the Breakfast Club and complaining is that they wanted some deal, some subsidy for their operation of InvestFest. I just did a quick Google search in terms of major corporate investment in Atlanta. They just wrapped a $34 million technology deal with Mercedes-Benz, a $185 million deal with Siemens Furniture for major manufacturing and 1,400 jobs. This is the city of Coca-Cola and the Olympics, the World Cup. The idea that, first of all, when the mayor walks in there and is like, "What's up, Atlanta?" The reason he got a lukewarm response has as much to do with the fact that most of the people there are not from Atlanta as it does anything about people liking or disliking him.
So really quickly. So Killer Mike, right? Killer Mike is Atlanta born, Atlanta bred, right? He Atlanta born. Let me slow down.
Sorry.
Michael Renter, whatever. Atlanta born, Atlanta bred, right? And again, fortunately, boy, listen, this is gonna be a good summer or winter, spring, whatever the fuck we about to be in. It's gonna be a good one, right? But this Atlanta born, Atlanta bred guy, right? Remember, he got called out by the city to go ahead and telling people to go home. And we got on the camera, he's crying and had his homage to police. And then he said, go home. And he said some weird stuff, kill your masters and all this other stuff. Atlanta home, Atlanta bred. Police. The firemen are in the city ready to strike because they didn't get their money, right? The firemen. And they had rallies out in front of the city hall. They had rallies out there because they said, listen, we're not ready. And now again, this is some liberal stuff, but I just want to see if Killer Mike would even be out there to support his people. The fire chief, all the people, a lot of the black workers and all of the community activists, all these people are there. The Democrat socialists, all these people are there, and Killer Mike is nowhere to be found, but Killer Mike is there when it's time to. And again, on his rap, he think it's cool, like Blue Flame. You need to get in Blue Flame, call me. You need to get it at a Hawks game, call. In his mind, he's the most radical thing. But who's susceptible to him? Is it the left organizations that take money from him, or is it the conscious community who invite him in because he had a good ass speech on the platform when he told something to Candace Owens? Actually, this is my question, Jared. Is it illegal for us to, if we did a documentary of some of these cats, like telling who they came and how the conscious community, like when the conscious community adopted them, and is it legal for us to just make a doc, like if we wanted to make a documentary of boys, like we could do that, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Can he sue us? I know they're litigious, and I'm just like, Diallo, you on mute.
He can't. He could only.
We'd have to post it on Pornhub or OnlyFans if we're going to be thorough. If we're going to cover everything, I don't know. We'd have to put it on OnlyFans.
It would only be illegal if it, or there would only be something, as far as I'm aware, if we said something that he could prove was a lie.
But even if it was untrue, he'd have to prove that we knew it was untrue and we maliciously did it.
And that it hurt his brand and all. Right. He would have to. That's what I meant to say. He would have to prove that we knowingly promoted a lie, or we would have to be caught using something that he did have copyrighted, claims over. But anything, But if we just took the time and well edited all the nonsense he has said publicly, he can't sue us for that. Even if we edited it in a way intentionally to convey that he was saying something he was not intending to say, that in and of itself would not be, to my knowledge, illegal. But the point being, if we just wanted to go make a good faith, honest documentary about Boyce or whomever else, it would be perfectly fine to do.
I mean, I think I did a DIY Boyce Watkins critique before, and I clipped all his interviews with Dr. Mayat, and so it was on him. So I guess we could do a documentary like that anyway, and it won't. But I think we should try to put a project together, because I'm telling you, like, I know you don't like to watch the full interviews, and
I haven't even been able to watch any. Are we going to watch any of this thing he did with 19 Keys or not?
Yeah,
we saw some of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. You want to watch more of it?
You said you had clips for me. I only saw one.
Well, your clip was already
mine.
there.
I didn't clip that part. You did. I just posted the whole video.
That's what I'm saying, Diallo. You posted the whole video. We already did 2 clips from that interview.
Did we?
Yeah, about his growing up.
Yeah, we saw that.
If I see folks asking for the document, I can't imagine, because that would also necessitate reading a bunch of those books I see he publishes.
A lot.
Some publishing house.
Is he that prominent though? Is
no, I don't think so.
It's who?
Boyce.
Yes.
And can we at least get to the thing with Common? I would like to. I agree with Cynical on that.
Before we do Run, Hide, Fight, can we do Run, Hide, Fight, and then Common?
Let's do them both. I just want to make sure we get to them. Run, Hide, Fight. This guy, man.
You laughing?
He needed a check, man.
Do you think it's really about a check?
Wait, who y'all talking about?
I thought so.
Jonathan Majors.
I did. I thought it was about a check. How else is he going to make a living?
His new movie, what happened? I think I missed this news.
And Megan isn't Megan. If this relationship is real, Megan, I'm sure, is saying you gotta, work.
She's a Blackbeard, like the pirate. She's a Blackbeard.
Hey, you know where they live at, right?
Industry plant relationship.
Where they live?
In Atlanta.
Perfect.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, that's why. He should have stayed in New York.
And listen,
he wouldn't be doing this shit if he was still in New York.
They be on the belt line. They be on the belt line selling her products. She be like icy pop or something weird. So yeah, they be.
Is that Megan Good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Megan Good. Megan Good got a new brand.
So pull this up. What are we looking at?
I want to see. It's a hard watch, man. It's a difficult.
Yep.
It's a difficult.
Yep. She right. I'm telling you, Atlanta. Hey, y'all got to come to Atlanta, man.
Y'all tell me when y'all ready for this.
We need help in Atlanta. Y'all need to come to Atlanta.
Y'all ready to watch the preview for Run, Hide, Fight? First, are you familiar with the original Run, Hide, Fight?
No.
I don't know. I don't think
it's literally, y'all know the movies Die Hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Die Hard, they took the concept of Die Hard and put it into a mass shooting at a school. So the original Run, Hide, Fight was a young lady who was at a liberal school, and there was a mass shooters who entered the school, and she basically crawled in through the ductwork and was setting traps and taking out these schools.
This is a series.
This is part 2. So there was an original about 4 or 5 years ago. There was Run, Hide, Fight, and there was this young girl who was taking out these school shooters using her wits. And somehow the school shooters were liberals. They were liberal progressives who were discontent progressive liberals or discontent leftists who decided in order to be heard in the name of transgender rights and in the name of communism
Queer
and
ideology and
in the name of single payer healthcare, they decided they could go shoot up a school to advance their cause. That's the original.
And this is
the
Ben
second
Shapiro's outfit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the second, but it was all white folks back then. So black people really, it didn't have nothing to do with us. That was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl playing Die Hard in a school shooting scenario. That's the original. And if you stay, and I bless your heart if you hadn't heard of it, because that means you know how to stay out of them folks' business, right-wing white folks' business.
That man's playing Die Hard. Playing Die Hard.
That was a high school. This one's done on a college campus. So y'all ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Y'all not ready. You can never prepare yourself for this shit, but I'm going to show it anyway. Here we go.
Your country is beneath contempt. We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Daily Wire.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus?
Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are three ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention?
Whose wounds?
Listen carefully.
That's
the great Satan America will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
I got friends here. I can't just leave.
Listen to me. In the law, we cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
Wow. Woo. Yeah, that's
what.
So right, bit on the nose there.
Did he have a British accent just now?
No,
I didn't hear that. It was that American, and
I'm speechless.
They're gonna get us through our women's wombs.
And Jonathan Major been going to town on the wombs of white women for the last decade. And he got nerves to deny the Muslims of what he's enjoyed for so long. You want to just lock all the white women down? That's why when they told him, listen, the Muslims are coming to take the white women, he's like, what do I sign? I'm on this pride. Forget, I don't care about the racism, Islam. I don't care about none of that. What? They coming? He just wants to save the wombs of white women for himself. The white men don't even know. Can you imagine? That bro,
Delta Force.
He got the nerve to talk about the wombs of our women.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro is getting desperate, I suppose. And the story of this movie is that this guy was coming, Jonathan Majors was overseas fighting Islam in Delta Force. He came back and wrote a book saying, what I saw overseas, Islam is taking over Europe. It's taking over the world, and it's coming here. So there was a pro-Palestine protest on this school campus. And they said they didn't want Major's character coming to speak there because he's basically an international war criminal advocating for ethnocide and mass expulsion and basically a religious theocracy saying, you know, if you're not Christian, get out. So they were protesting saying, we don't want this guy on our campus because it was a liberal school. And they were protesting and advocating for, this is a pro-Palestinian campus. And so Muslim terrorists say, hey, let's find some targets in America to attack. And the Islamic terrorist says, let's go to the pro-Palestine liberal progressive school that is trying to stop an Islamophobe from speaking there. Let's attack them. So they go into this Palestinian protest and basically take these pro-Palestine people hostage. And then finally, the people who were always tried to warn you, like we tried to warn you. And they go there and stop these, and they impose Sharia law on the campus. On the campus. This is, let's go invade, take over a campus, and then impose Sharia. Like, goddamn.
So I have heard
I read the plot. I didn't just watch the trailer. I read the whole fucking press release on that shit.
So I have heard through R.M. Brown and similar critics of the right that Candace Owens is destroying the Daily Wire in numbers. So he may be desperate. That is Ben Shapiro. Yeah. I did assume that Majors is just desperate when he lost that Kang franchise of, you know, Avengers money and everything else, that he was just willing to take whatever job he could get. But I don't, you know, but that's egregious. And I did think it's also funny because I do watch some of those, you know, spaces that are critical of the Rogan sphere and all of that. That big black dude, David Lucas, I think his name is like a failed Kill Tony groundkeeper. So they went and got everybody. They went and got every black person they could find that would be willing to participate in this. And this is their diversity movie, I guess. And I think that is wild.
I think they thought they could be as racist as they want to be if they had a black main character.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think the only reason they hired Jonathan Majors to get up there and say the wombs of our women, because if a white man got up there and said it, it'd be less palatable. And they're trying to get a wider audience for this shit. So I think Jonathan Majors gave them a license to be as racist as they want to be. Like when you mentioned Kill Tony, the fact that they bring black comics up there gives them, and they got black comics up there chuckling along with the racist joke, the Kevin Hart roast type shit.
Yep.
You know, it's like one white comic got on there and said a racist jokes, and he was like, "Oh, I was wondering if the black people are laughing, but I see eyes and teeth, so I see the black people laughing, so it's okay to say it."
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, that's
so Jonathan Majors allowed that movie just look
and
at all the
racism. There won't be. I can only imagine that there's not one black womb in the film or associated with the production, unless Megan came to pick him up after a day of shooting.
Did you hear about the? Did you hear about the production set?
No.
They were trying to use union grips and union workers, and they were there. First of all, there were several injuries. Jonathan Majors himself was injured falling through a window, and the set people were basically like, we need certain guarantees of healthcare, and there's a lot of danger. So there was a huge walk-off on the movie set, and the producer said he doesn't negotiate with communists. So he refused to work with, so they brought on a bunch of scabs. So even the production of the movie itself was a reflection of right-wing ideology and
fell out the window and got
he fell out the window because they failed to replace the breakaway glass with the real glass. So he was injured on the set. Many of the professionals who were there to do the pyrotechnics and the stunts, many of them walked off the set because they said it is a severe hazard and they're not following any of the regulations or the union standards for health. They wouldn't sign off on the union contracts. So there was a huge walk-off, which delayed production, which delayed the release of the film.
Wow. That's
perfect.
So perfect.
I think that him starring in this movie wins him a nominee as Weakest of the Week.
Definitely nominated for Weakest of the Week.
I mean, I
do want to see if Common can beat him.
Listen. We got Boyce on record literally saying you can be correct on your criticism, but I'm not gonna give this up. Like you could be absolutely correct. I could be wrong. This is what he's saying. I could be exactly wrong, but there's money that y'all keep bringing this man to y'all city. Well, I don't know if y'all do it anymore. Y'all kept bringing this man to y'all city to speak at y'all little events, and right after Umar took your money, and then Tariq took your money, and y'all let Boyce do the same thing, and then it got him all up into the spaces, and the whole time Boyce and your boy paying homage to EYL because they like, I ain't gonna hate on those brothers, they doing well. I can see a sea full of conscious people who are economically powerful and literate,
Did you watch the Haki video?
No, I thought we was gonna watch it. No, I didn't watch that shit. Really.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
But I did me and Dennis had a lunch, and Haki's a interesting brother. Hey, Haki, he always watching. What's up, man? Y'all should bring him on. Y'all should.
I'm eventually going to watch it. I was hoping we would watch it here, but I am
play
interested
it. Isn't it quick, right?
He's
watch party.
I think it's like 30 minutes.
Oh,
are we going? You've been wanting to.
Everybody else going to.
Okay.
Everybody else going to invest. Everybody else going to Invest Fest. So I think I thought that's what Aki said he was going to Invest Fest or something.
Yeah, I was curious to. I am curious to know what his argument is as to why he thinks it's important to be there.
Listen,
well, you went already, Geechee. Did you find out where the money reside?
I did. I did a whole interview.
Right. So we already got the inside scoop. Let's go get rich.
I tried. It ain't work.
Are we gonna deal with this Common thing? Somebody has said something to me the other day.
That Common is Belafonte. Common is our Belafonte.
I don't get that comparison.
You don't.
It's
you
just
don't look
made out of ignorance. That's all. It's just
I know.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
There
trajectory.
is no comparison to be made.
They said that as a compliment to Common or an insult to Harry Belafonte. I don't know.
Or an insult to both of them.
Right. I just don't. I don't get it. I've seen that a couple of times, but I couldn't really.
They don't get it either. People just be saying stuff.
Wait, ain't Belafonte raised him? And he grew up under Belafonte. That was his.
He might have Belafonte. Belafonte was on Once Upon a Time. Who was? I have to think
Harry
about who I was with.
Yeah, man.
I was in a call. I was on a call. I was on one of those mass activist calls that he hosted once upon a time.
Oh shit! Al Sharpton was there?
in the car. I was in the car. I don't. Who was I with though? And we listened for a while. And honestly, I just found it depressing and sad. And there was just nothing meaningful being said. There was no real analysis being offered. There was no, let's agree on this project, at least not that I heard. So it makes sense. I've always thought, look, Belafonte needed the movement that gave him his politics. If you even go back and look at the documentary about the Red Scare, what was it called? What was it called? But that was about the red listing or the blacklisting of all these,
I just forgot it. The House of American Activities, HUAC.
Yeah.
McCarthyism.
But you're talking about the book. You're talking about the book, though.
Well, I'm talking about the documentary that I know Morgan Freeman narrated, but it's largely about Robeson and they talk about Canada Lee and Hazel Scott.
Oh, okay.
But my point of bringing it up here is that to me it's very clear that Belafonte was not a bad person. It's just that he needed the politics around him, like most of us, to push him in the right direction. And that when he was when he took the invitation from anyway, my point is I'm not, let me not try to go through my bad memory on this right now, but the point is he needed the movement. He needed a radical left. He needed a broader movement to give him his left on his own device, he became like probably most of us would, a liberal Democrat who that was it, you know. And
I mean, by the standards of the time he was operating, that was a fairly. Oh wow, that's where they get that shit from.
Wow, generations of cool, yeah. So
I mean, so I think y'all think I thought. Listen, no. I know I need y'all to give my respect. So I'm a student of both of y'all, and me being a student of Jared in particular is the reason why I was like, oh, they trying to make him the Harry Belafonte or this. Oh, and he passing it over to him. So
scandalize my name. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of.
Went full sellout.
Listen, boy. I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all need to pay attention to history. Y'all ain't y'all history students.
But I think it's important, and especially, and I'm just going to put it out there. Forgive me for doing it this way, because I took some grief over this. I just want to point out that what we're about to see is coming on the heels of him performing at Asada's Going Home commemoration event in New York.
Listen,
and so I just want that. Just going. That's all I'm going to say about that. But
also, let me say this too. Let me say this. So my favorite ex-rapper, right? He has been out to be a black capitalist villain, right? And we can say that Jay-Z. But Common and Jay-Z is the good cop, bad cop. You know what I mean? Because Common is the more, intellectual, and Jay-Z even said that line, like, he saw them commas and he ain't been rhyming like common sense. Like, I ain't going over that. So, but Common is kind of he's trash too.
Well, I'm not
politically
judging him as a rapper.
No, I'm talking about politically.
Man, he's just a fucking sellout.
I'm talking about politically.
I was a fan of Common going all the way back to Can I Borrow $1? Back when Common, before he was doing movies and shit, and he was doing little college shows. I traveled all the way to Lawrence, Kansas to watch him perform at some little venue off the KU campus when he was just doing little college shows and tours.
So
no entourage, none of that. He just was a fucking classic run-of-the-mill fucking sellout. That's all
and
it
on
is.
the summer, I was on my way where I got to meet Asada. I saw him and others perform at Central Park at one of the greatest shows I've ever been at, where the whole park, where he's doing "There Are Times When You Need Someone," and the whole park was rocking. Like these,
there is
Pharoah Monch was there, the Real Goat, all of them were there. So that was an incredible show. So he, this in many ways, this is why I'm upset by these kinds of performative shifts. But go ahead, play this clip so we can.
Play this clip. But Jared, this is what I want to say.
Unique. The
Hold on. So Jared, one, I want to give a special shout out to the people who are, because I do this sometimes. They are riding in the car right now, and they can't see us because they're focusing on the road, but they got us playing through the Bluetooth. So shout out to anybody who's doing that right now. I know you can't see how ugly Diallo is. I mean, you know how ugly he is, but you can't really see how ugly he is.
Wow.
You interrupted me for that lame ass dig.
You went way for that joke.
No, okay, I'm joking. No, but no, seriously.
No, I was not at Chappelle's Black Party.
I'm actually glad you don't find me attractive.
I should have, but I didn't go.
Geechee.
Huh?
Geechee.
What happened?
I'm fully content that you don't find me attractive.
I'm joking, man. That was the easy
you find
one.
Jared.
That was easy.
Listen, hey, you and Jared, y'all can go off into the sunset together. And if I'm not attractive enough to accompany y'all, I'm okay with that.
I wasn't even involved with that joke.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to be put. I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
That you aren't ugly. That he ain't called you. So, like I said,
I don't know what
he finds you more attractive than me.
Play the clip, man.
He finds you more attractive than he finds me, Jared.
There's somebody out there for everybody.
Jared,
that's my whole
you
life.
You don't want Geechee.
That's my whole life.
I'm fine to be on the outside. If y'all need some time together, if y'all need some time alone, I'll give you that.
How did I get into that? I didn't even say it.
Hey, but listen, you know, it's funny though. the way
sometime.
Diallo, you the reason why the conscious community kicked all of us out because yeah, like so you the reason. Now play the clip. Which clip are we playing?
What's that got to do with you calling me ugly and calling Jared fine?
Cause man, you done took it all the way somewhere else and see what I mean? See what I mean? This guy.
What you said it. I didn't even bring what does that have to do? Your level of attraction to me.
Jared, you know who he sound like? You know who he sound like, Jared?
What does that have to do with anything today?
Geechee, I blame you for this. You took a long, circuitous route to tell us a silly joke.
You're right.
And now we stuck in the mud. You drove us off the road.
That's my bad.
Learn how to take a compliment, Jared.
That's my bad.
It wasn't even
that fake modesty is probably why he finds you so attractive. All that fake modesty.
Hey, Jared, you know who you remind me of? That dude on that video when them two girls was tearing them up over that Killer Mike verse, and he said, "So you want them to shoot each other? Because if they fight, I think Killer Mike can take him, but I ain't never seen Jared."
He did say that. He said,
but
I've never seen him, but I think Killer Mike can beat up Jared.
So Jared,
salute to BK and L for that though. They did an incredible job.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But on a real level,
I'm taller than Jared. He might look better than me, but I'm taller than him.
On a real level,
counts for something.
On a real level, I don't want y'all to forget that Jared is a vegan now, and he stopped working out as much, and he's not. But I don't know.
Jared, you're losing some points.
No, listen to what I'm saying. No. Listen to what I'm saying. If you talk about prime for prime, even because the dude said he never saw it, but I seen Jared pictures and prime for prime, just looking at them two, no, that's not happening. I think in Jared Prime, I think that's not happening. Like I watch fights. I know how. So, but if you want to talk about now, it still ain't happening. Not at all.
First of all, it's not happening because the idea of me getting into a physical altercation with anybody at this point is laughable. It would be.
But him too. See, that's why I'm saying.
But I'm also being honest.
Him worse.
Fight for you. Look at that. I would put up hands for you, G. I would jump in to fight with you, Geechee. See, look, you Poozy going off a look, strictly off a look. See where you end up? Being superficial.
But the idea as an objective third party, non-involved
you talking reckless, and you almost caught one in Atlanta, so you know it. So chill out. Diallo almost caught one in Atlanta.
If I was a non-involved third party, the idea of seeing me, like if I could disembody the idea of seeing me fight Killer Mike today in the street somewhere would be hilarious. Like just picturing it is hilarious.
Focus on cardio, man. Move. Just keep moving. Move your head.
Just the whole thing sounds. First of all, tire him out. Neither of us are going beyond a few seconds.
He's a wrestler, so he got breath control.
Okay, listen. Now I got both of y'all off the rails. Now I got both of y'all off the rails. Listen, both of y'all.
No, but I was actually trying to get back to something.
Yeah, my bad.
You were saying you could whoop Cuddly Mike's ass. You would beat his ass if it came to it. That's not what you were saying?
That's not what I was going to say.
I shouldn't have been interrupted. I'm sorry.
First of all, I had said something like, first of all, there would not be a fight because nobody's fighting anybody.
Right.
Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Then you were saying the second part of that, but if it was a fight.
But anyway, Jared, this is why. Listen, this is why I made the radio joke, right? Because when you said that, like, I grew up in radio. I grew up in whatever. I grew up in radio, and I'm old enough to remember when you couldn't have us being on the camera talking this shit or whatever, and you used to hear a lot of things through radio or whatever. So that's why I was giving a shout out to the people who, because it felt like when I was driving in the radio, be listening in the air, like I'd be, that's the best radio we have right now, because right now radio is trash. And so shout out to the people who using their YouTube to listen to us, engage in radio. And shout out to Jared, who is having a conversation with his mentee, but really they engage in what that lady said, psychological warfare, which is true. Like these cats
got to do with me catching strays on my physical appearance.
What are you talking about, man?
Oh, okay.
Damn, I wish I remembered what I was gonna say. I was bringing us back to an actual
Diallo, you attractive, man. You attractive for a man. You attractive for a man.
Even play or pally the clip, man.
Can we play? Can we go to the clip?
Yes.
Well, Diallo messed up the clip because he didn't put the
can
right
you
clip
control
in.
yourself, because Common is a fairly handsome man too. Can you just focus on? And he dyes his beard, unlike me and Jared. Jared and I have embraced Father Time.
Do you think he does? Do you think he dyes his beard?
Hell yeah, he dyes his
This
beard.
is why y'all ass can't get to the. Let me.
When you see the dude of his age,
Diallo played the wrong clip,
anyway. Man.
I'm playing this. I just have to look at Common's age now.
Diallo put the wrong link in there. That's by the way, so he don't even have the right. You put the same link twice.
You were trying to usurp me, weren't you?
No,
he's 54 years old, and his beard is black as tar. Him and Farrakhan got the same genetics. Come on, y'all be falling for it.
Boys call himself a grifter, Derek.
Look at that beard at 54. You think that's his natural color?
That's a good
I'm
point.
asking Geechee, because Geechee's the one that.
Look, he's making movies now. He can't afford to grow old.
I ain't hating on him for it, but let's be real. I keeps it a buck.
Yeah, me too.
I dye my beard for a couple of mil. I think it's gonna be a commercial. Sorry, I should have queued this up.
You really need to sleep? ZQL has no equal.
Are we really?
Get the deeply restorative sleep.
Maybe I can mute it. No, it won't let me mute it. Okay, here we go.
I really have been intentional about my acting being a tool to bring joy to people, to bring inspiration, to bring light, to bring healing. So and I do it mostly by trying to bring the humanity out of every character that I play. You know, and who can't relate to human beings? Even you could be from Wyoming. I'm from the south side of Chicago. You could be
whether you skip
political,
it or
and
not.
I'm be this political.
That's all I'm asking.
Wait, what'd you say?
Make it full screen.
Oh, I can do that.
Yes.
You don't like the distractions?
Yes, correct.
You want to see up close. You want to see that ebony beard up
production
close.
value. It's production value.
This why we can't get. This why we can't get to Roland Martin level right here. God damn.
That's it. That's. I'm definitely trying to get to Roland.
You think that's a natural beard?
humanity still has a commonality to it and a unity.
Look, man, I just feel sorry for these celebrities, man. I know deep down he hates being in this conversation. He doesn't want to be in this conversation.
No. So
Jared, that we can come together on no matter what color you are, even with our prejudices.
Really?
So I think acting and storytelling has that, and it has become that.
It's too much for you to behold, Geechee. Geechee's like, give me a minute. Let me collect myself.
No. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when I was in Greensboro, I worked at 102 Jams, and one of my positions was to like record the drops for people. So when artists come through, they got to come into the editing bay, and I'll record the drops and like, you listen to so and so one or whatever. And this dude came in, and so when you Jared, like when you say he can't believe it, whatever, like Common ain't like, I don't think Common like I don't think Common like all the way. Yeah, I don't think Common all the way there, bro. So Common really is believe what he's saying right now, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So
does he look better than Jared?
I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Man,
you don't want to hire judge opinions and tell him who.
I'm sorry, Diallo. I'm sorry, Diallo. I'm sorry for calling you ugly. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. I was joking.
I don't need it. Like I said, I'm fine with
Jared,
that.
Diallo, make the screen big. Make the screen big. Let me. I'm sorry.
It
Diallo.
is.
Do you forgive me for calling you ugly?
No,
because I really didn't mean it.
I reject your apology. I don't want anybody to ever apologize for telling the truth.
Okay, how can we correct this? What can we do to move forward? What do you need?
Move forward. You got Jared blushing. That's thing, man. You know Jared's ego is already overinflated, and there you are pumping it up more.
Play, man. Play the shit, man.
All right, play. Can I play? Have you collected yourself?
Yes.
You ready to watch some more of Blackbeard here?
For me,
I completely agree. It like watching stories unfold on screen and learning about yourself. Where I do have thoughts like that, or I do have actions like that sometimes, and learning how to figure it out best. And
what is happening?
Oh man.
When I played it earlier, it just played all the way through.
not make the same mistakes that character made, or make the same right choices that character made. I think it informs all of our lives and is so helpful.
It's understanding. Look, I'll say this, I know you're about to ask something, but I'll say that understanding, like the more we understand like each other and ourselves, like the more compassion we have for each other. And the more like we could even be like, I don't agree with you, but you know what? I understand you.
I have empathy for your situation.
Exactly. So
now, how about this? Is there something that Robert Sims has taught Rashid? Anything you've learned from him?
Yes, Robert Sims. I believe Robert Sims has taught me that everyone that is that is like always working to try to save people within the government, they're not all bad.
No. That's a good lesson to learn. I think like that all the time. I'm like, you have power, you're a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
So Robert Sims
some people are trying to do right.
Yeah, some people are trying to do right. And also...
Yeah, Robert Sims is a character in a series called Silo. And Silo is about a post-apocalyptic area where humans have to live underground in a bunker because microscopic nanobites wiped out human civilization, and it is a repressive government. But he plays a character who's over the judiciary. And he's saying that his character in an authoritarian post-apocalyptic government, his character has taught him that not all people in power are bad, even though the people in power are keeping the public ignorant of the impending doom.
He understands why now. He understands from their perspective. Okay.
Pretending to be somebody in power helps him to understand people in power.
Robert is learning. Like Robert is growing. He thought he knew something. He was, an enforcer and was really in power. So he's also taught me that, people can evolve and change. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna be real. Like, I was at the Obama Center opening, right? Like, I'm just gonna say this shit. Like, I've said a lot of things about George Bush.
He was even nervous about saying it
because he knows better.
Because I just don't support what he has done, and did as a president. And I was saying what I needed to say in music because that was my way of getting it out. And
now that I'm
one of the real reasons I initially started voting was to vote against him, right? But as I saw him supporting the Obamas and being there, and Michelle Obama giving him respect, who I ultimately hold in a high place, Michelle Obama, it was like, man, this person may have evolved, or this person may have something more than I even knew. So it made me at least see him in a different way.
Isn't that the worst?
Mean it was all,
Isn't that the worst?
Right.
Someone you don't like, are you actually a person?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Sims did for me. Made me say, hey, some people they are people.
Yeah.
And I still may not agree with those things. And I'm not a supporter go Bush, but it just was this is a person.
That takes a big man to be able to do that and say, all right, there is a human being here to see a different level. That's a great lesson to learn from Robert Sims.
Yeah.
So
I just keep resting my case.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, or we'll be
We're still
electrocuted.
playing Diallo.
Sorry.
Diallo. So I do appreciate the way you put the run sheet together, because as I'm listening to these rappers, this shit is depressing, and I'm glad that you put Skip's album at the bottom of it, because so I could tell you do yoga, and so I appreciate you for your yogic approach to cleaning our palate. Because I hate these fucking rappers, bro. All of them.
Well, but he's just following the lead of his political leadership. He's just said, look, Michelle and Barack led me to this conclusion. And instead of the conclusion being, oh, wait, Michelle and Barack are not that politically different from George Bush, and that's the critique I should have, he's saying, no, they've shown me that Bush is somehow not as bad as I thought. And again, that check that big ass check I'm getting because nobody's listening to my music anymore is that's what taught me that to see the humanity in these Paramount, Ellison, Apple, whoever the hell is paying for his shit and giving him a job.
I want one of them. I saw that Barack Center. I want one too. I want one too. I'm gonna get one like that.
And again, this is happening on the heels of him allegedly praising and commemorating Assata Shakur and her passing. This is diabolical.
No, but so I don't know. I don't know who's doing that. Who's blending all these people together? Like, why is he in that space, right? Who's bringing him in that space? Who's bringing them into the spaces that you think supposed to be honoring the people as opposed to disrespecting these people?
Look, he was brought into that space 30 years ago initially by the Malcolm X grassroots movement and their effort to bring hip hop into Black August. Happy Black August, everybody. To bring artists into that particular wing of the struggle. And initially I was a huge proponent of it for sure, and thought at the time mistakenly, I didn't have anything to do with this, by the way. I was just I was in MXGM and I was following all of it, but I had nothing to do with any of this. It was very low level in here in DC. But I went to those shows. I went to those Black August shows. I journalistically interviewed Killer Priest and whoever else I was seeing. So I did all of that and thought at the time this was an important moment. That there was, I think that there was that late 90s Dead Prez, Black Star, Comet, the coup. Like I thought, like there's this the neo soul. I was like, there is something happening. Let's politicize it. Let's link them in with Black August and political prisoners. I thought this was a great idea. What I think, just looking back, what I think was a mistake was that that's not how you build radical political movements. We don't need quote unquote celebrity involvement. And without those political movements, to my point about Belafonte, this is what happens.
But that's the thing of culture workers, right? So it's just like a politician, though, right? So if you can't trust a politician that didn't come from among the people, you can't trust an artist that didn't come from, like, if the people who wasn't at your community meetings, people you don't know in your neighborhood who actually got talent, like, who can rap, like, they should be the artists that you should have at your events. Not these. You don't know that nigga. He live in a whole nother city or state, and then not only that, but he became famous and been plastered around being a representation of a city. And then there's actual organizers and people in that city who say like, nah. So it's the same thing with Killer Mike, and like you could pick any of the people we talk about. These people live in somebody's community in city, and most of the people in their hood or city either know they're full of shit or know they're don't agree with their politics or whatever. So when you can get on the camera and make a whole recreate a whole nother person, it's almost like being in college again. Like people just recreating themselves, and nobody gonna verify and say like, if this person is whatever. So that's where we at.
But first of all, not everybody from that era sold out. And I do think a lot of conscious artists brought a lot of awareness and engagement to the larger grassroots struggle. So I do think there was some missteps, but I wouldn't say it was a total failure engaging with the resurgent conscious hip hop, neo soul, and the aesthetics and the music and the arts component of it.
But did you engage with it, or you engage with something that looked like it?
I couldn't even get tickets to when they were doing, what was it, Black August at, Webster Hall? I couldn't even get tickets. That shit would sell out within the first couple of days. I wanted to go see the coup back in what was it, 95, 96? I couldn't even get in. I was hating from outside the hall.
So the failure that I'm pointing to isn't the engagement with the artists. Really what I mean to say is the failure was a failure of the organization itself, the organized effort itself. That the goal should not have ever been to do that, not because of what I've already said, but because the goal should be to better build organization, to solidify, to politically educate, to get people on the same page, and to grow from that. That was really so. But again, at the time, I thought, the effort was fantastic. I am speaking, a little bit looking back. Although, again, even at the end of my MXGM days, I was advocating less. I was saying we should be doing less events and more focus on building our organization.
So
that's
when you made a critique one time back in the days, a couple of years ago, and you said like the shit looked like event planning, and some people got their feelings hurt, and that's what the fuck this is. Social groups doing events. Like that's it.
Yeah, I think if that overshadows the political work, that is the problem.
Right. And what you get is a bunch of organizations in a conversation, having a conversation, and they fucking organization ain't even organized. They're not so you just get I don't know, you get a representation of something that's not even happening.
But Oba Tashaka in his book greatly emphasizes how, the event planners, the people who can put on galas and balls and events and concerts can be of great assets to the larger struggle. Sure. If they just weren't allowed to spill over and dominate the political sphere and the organizational sphere, but every revolution should have a component of that. Or like Emma Goldman said, I wouldn't join a revolution that didn't allow me to dance. So there's a balance.
But now we just dancing though, and I think so.
Yeah,
that
now
goes
it's just dancing without the revolution, right?
No, listen. When I was in Costa Rica, there's the black Costa Rican group and there's people from Costa Rica there, and in fact the sister who used to organize it, she transitioned a couple months ago or so. But I remember when, everybody meet up, we have cookouts, you have drinking michelado, like it's fun. Like, hey yo, let's read together. Like what y'all reading? Bro, we ain't here for that shit, bro. We trying to party, and then but you'll get a few, like in the group, you'll probably get a few people who study or whatever. And funny, like both of y'all have met some of the people who've been to the Barn and Build study group, but like maybe out of 20 people, only one of them wanted to come to the study group and actually even think about the things that we're talking about. But it's like a constant thing, like the celebration, right? It's cool, cultural awareness, and getting everybody like music, like we can all spit out all of whatever. But an overemphasis of that is that's how you're gonna get people in.
What I felt was the tide had turned, and it had become more of the opposite. That we were having organizational meetings just to become a feeder to support an event, as opposed to having an event to feed into the organization. Yeah. Or what I was also thinking we needed to be doing more of is just having organizational fun time, where you're not putting on an event to recruit the public. You're putting on an event so that people in the organization can build. Because ideally, more so at the time, admittedly, I was thinking, look, if the goal is ultimately to do other things,
serious other things,
then we have serious. Then that's what my point. Then we have to know each other, trust each other, we have to, like, we can't just see each other once a month at a meeting. Like that was the point.
Diallo. Diallo. Let me ask you this. Do you remember when John Henry Clark said that we are struggling as a people in a movement because we have failed in our ability to handle or deal with our traitors?
Yeah.
Do you think that what do you think that start with? Because in terms of like welcome, like everybody get thrust into the conscious community just as fast as they get thrust into the left. If you're convenient for the movers and shakers of those movements, right? So the conscious community, like if you with like the Baba Baruti clan or whatever, the left, if you with like one of the bigger BAP or CMB or whatever, like those people end up kind of like, I don't know. It's like, anyway, you get adopted into this thing really quickly or really easy. But inside those spaces, when I was telling you about like the critical thought or the application or whatever, we don't like we will say like, oh, I know so and so because it's politics, what he say online, whatever. But we're not. It's not like we're in like we know where people do in their communities, where they're from or whatever. And so we only set ourselves up to only celebrate events also online. Like we judge people's politics based off of the events that we saw from them online. But we don't act.
No, there's a lot of things happening on the ground though in everybody's city though. There's a lot of face-to-face connections.
That's my point. But I'm saying some of us who intersect now, like we don't, like, for instance, even y'all, like y'all never been to the neighborhood that I organize in.
I want to go to that fucking neighborhood.
I hear what you're saying. It sounds good, but I'm saying like
Atlanta,
and anywhere, Baltimore, Atlanta, wherever, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying.
I've been to Baltimore. Jared's been to Chicago. We all been to Mississippi.
What I'm trying to say is sometimes we don't separate people's rhetoric from their politics, and politics has to be exposed through practice. Like you
shouldn't separate rhetoric from politics. Your rhetoric should be saturated with your politics. There's no separation. Rhetoric is the capacity to articulate your politics in a way that it could be understood.
Right. And you articulate you articulate your politics to practice it, right? Like when you say the fly shit with the politics, that means you can practice it in your behavior.
No, that's not necessarily true, because people can see you out street in the action. The Black Panthers march in the street with guns, and the fucking skinheads and the Proud Boys march in the street with guns. So unless you understand the ideological component of it, a lot of groups are engaged in actions that look similar. That's why so many Black people get caught up in right-wing politics, because somebody will get up and say, I'm against the government. I don't want the government monitoring what I'm doing. I'm against Israel. And that could be a skinhead Zionist, a skinhead anti-Semite, or a leftist anti-Zionist. So the rhetoric is extremely important. The Pentagon does not finance Hollywood. The CIA and the Pentagon put billions of dollars.
You're doing that thing again. I'm not saying the rhetoric isn't important.
So what
I'm saying the rhetoric don't match the behavior, is what I'm saying.
Then if there's a divergence, then that's something different. That's why I said your politics should be infused in it. But I know there's a lot of people who talk about action and action and action. There's a lot going on. As the Jungle Brother said, there's a lot going on, but ain't a damn thing happening. So I think that we underemphasize rhetoric, scholarship, propaganda, and counter propaganda. I think we underemphasize that, and that's why we got a lot of busy people sacrificing time, resources, and even people sacrificing their lives, but there's very little progress, because we think there is a divergence between action and talk, or action and rhetoric, when there needs to be a merger and a symbiosis between the two.
Yeah, and if those wrong ideologies and ideas get some resources and money behind it, it becomes legitimized before people, because it's seen on camera,
and we don't
on
pay no
video.
attention. Like we had a bunch of purple scripture eaters, a bunch of black Hebrew Israelites, black men marching up and down the street talking about protect our women, protect our communities and communities, and everybody was praising them. And I'm like, has anybody paying attention to the rhetoric, the ideology, the agenda,
They're gonna get
the
us through the
values of
womb.
this group, or you just see muscly black men in purple shirts looking at the surface instead of looking deeper beyond the surface, Geechee, looking into the hearts of the people?
Okay.
I think one of our weakest components in our community is ideological and rhetoric. That's where we're the weakest and most vulnerable, which I think is the foundation for any action. Thought is pen versus the sword. We got a bunch of swords in our community, but the pens are all out of ink.
Look, increasingly,
I'm sorry.
increasingly, I think we need to be building and then leaving some form of national political organization that has an overt militant clarity around electoral politics. And so even as you mentioned Dr. Clark and all these others, and no disrespect to them, because as I get older, I'm seeing the difficulty in doing what I'm saying that they didn't do, but they didn't leave us any of that. Like nobody left us anything to inherit, to build from. So I think a lot of the reason why there's before we get to anything about poor character or lack of principle or being disingenuous, one of the reasons I think there's this huge gap between action and voice is because people don't know exactly what to do, and people don't know exactly how to materialize and make actionable the things that they believe in.
You said they didn't leave us. They didn't leave us nothing to build from. Say that again. Like
they didn't leave us an organization. They didn't leave us a political apparatus to inherit and walk to take up. As you were talking, I just thought, it would have been great if Clark had spent the remaining years of his life and his platform working with others to maintain the OAAU, just as an example, or to give a political arm to the ASCAC and AHSA or academic organizations that he did help co-found and build. So because
the conscious community got him though, don't you think? He was on that circuit too. He spent
and that's my point as to why I'm saying that there's no organization or apparatus that grounds all of that. So all of us who grew up on those lecture tapes, nobody has listened. And I know how this sounds, but for whatever it's worth, nobody has listened to more Dr. Clark than me.
I think I have. I think I got
maybe.
You on that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how we would.
I know what you're saying, because nobody my age has listened more to me. I know that for a fact.
But even more to my point, if Diallo and I represent the height of engagement with Clark audio and video, we're not on the same page. We're not building the same thing. We haven't been doing the same exact. We haven't put something together, and we all have we each have different takes and points of emphasis.
I think so. This is how I see it, right? Dr. Clark had students that sprung off and did things, and then y'all might have came. So, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna see when you come to my class. This is how I'm drawing it, real quick. Dr. Clark had Marimba Ani as a student, right? Amos was one of his students too, and then you got the Wade Nobles and Leonard Jeffries. These people coming, whatever. Out of him, I think I don't know. I think out of him, the only person
it's not that people aren't learning and being influenced and growing from him. I'm not trying to denigrate him. What I'm saying, what I am saying is, I'm saying this is somebody who is getting older and seeing the end himself more than the beginning, at least. And my point is in thinking about this gap between what we say and believe and what we actually do, that you all were just talking about. One of the reasons that I think that is because all of the people that we have been learning from, directly and indirectly, haven't given us a program. They haven't given us a way to build from that thought, institutionalize in some way that thought, and pass it on in some programmatic way.
I don't think they're supposed to.
Okay,
I think that's our responsibility.
Okay,
but
okay, but to the extent that we don't put a program behind it, we leave room for everyone to just sort of pick
what the fuck,
and go, and then we have people who will quote Clark and go and vote for Trump, and then they have people who vote Clark and go and vote for Obama. We have people who go and vote who will quote Clark and vote for none of the above, and that's how we have people who will go down there and meet Asada and then write a song about her, and then end up talking about how the Obamas and the Bushes are great. And we'll have people who will say, that Asada taught me, and write books that don't talk about Asada at all. And then, or we'll have Black Lives Matter Asada, we'll have Jared Ball Asada, we'll have Diallo and Geechee. It's like everybody has, it's like, and so I'm just increasingly wanting us to say, at a minimum, we have to have a program based in this, an electoral approach that says this, off the record things that say those things.
But I have to tell you,
in a more organized way, that's all. Yeah, go ahead.
In my own experience, I've walked into the lectures. I've been Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Professor Mackey, Dale Jones. I've been in those rooms and been inspired by their teachings and what they articulated. And I've talked to people saying, let's put this to action. And I literally had, there was this one, I was in Professor Mackey's study group, and I had written up a whole blueprint for a plan of action. And she told me, I come here to feel better about myself. I come here to get personal validation. The problem is a lot of people join the Black liberation struggle to express their individual freedom. Most people don't join or come into this information and this understanding and analysis to secure collective freedom. And often the goals and requirements of the collective empowerment and liberation directly contradict people's individual aspirations. So especially within the movement. So the reality is the Black liberation struggle is in a time of quality over quantity. So the few of us who do comprehend what is at hand and what is necessary are going to have to intensify our efforts. And it's never going to be a mass struggle until the few people can implement mass consequences. Until we can come to the masses of the conscious community, not even the masses of Black people, and say, here are the benefits for collective action, here are the risks, and here are the consequences. This is what we have to offer, and this is what you stand to lose. So that's where it's going to have to be. But these contradictions are very, very obvious, but they're not insurmountable from my point of view.
No, they're not. And that's why I simply am saying, making my point about some form of formal organization. And because I think that mitigates to a certain extent some of that. And that's why, to the extent that I am being joked by the comment there, that's sort of my point, that I'm being honest, that my engagement with these public YouTube streets is largely a selfish endeavor, to make it meaningful requires some sort of collective and formal organized effort, which is one of the reasons why I was involved with Black Liberation Media and why I'm working with you all to a certain extent and so on and so forth. So that to mitigate all of the potential negatives that are involved with this kind of quote unquote work. And again, I'm saying to mitigate the potential damage that could be done to the collective by people only being interested in coming to meetings to feel good selfishly and personally. That's why I'm saying the more that we formalize and organize these kinds of things, and the less likely it is for those things to be to have negative impact. And then also it gives us some sort of direction. Even as something as simple as where do we go, or how do we engage voting, or how do we engage broad concepts like capitalism and socialism, something like that. That's to more to get us on a similar page, so that we don't just say, man, I felt great listening to Dr. Clark all day. And
so some of it, all I think at some point, or both of y'all will agree that there has to be some, as Diallo say, a massive class conflict, right? Whether it be somebody take over one community and be able to like determine its development and federate, as Kali says, with other neighborhoods, and then the labor industry has to be, or the labor has to get back more. Because I mean, I don't know, maybe Jared, maybe you'll say like the labor movement was the first one that got hit with that propaganda of buying power, and the first one to catch the assault. And so, but y'all both would say like the shit got to get popping somewhere. So you live in a building right now, and I know you online and you're talking and whatever. Are you a part of the tennis union? Do you have a tennis union? Are you going to develop a tennis union? How do you engage? Because I think, Jared, when you said electoral politics, I really think people just leave, even people on the left, just leave it at like just voting Democrat or the argument around Democrat, and it doesn't go into like you either live in a school, live in a neighborhood, you live in a building, you work for a place, like all of the things that you talk about with Marx, whoever you read, like you would have to be a part of doing something, and you would either have to be a part of an organization who can help you do that, or you would have to start an organization. So I'll end here. This question: whenever we all got together, right? The join an organization, join an organization, join an organization. That was the thing. Like everybody, you got to join an organization. And sometimes I feel like people mistake like joining an organization with organizing efforts to push you further into the class conflict y'all all would agree that we would have to get into. Does that make sense in terms of like when you hear the thing of like, so for instance, y'all are, I don't know, I think both of y'all have organizations that y'all are part of, but you always say that you're either not as active or why you're not active. But you still, you still live in the neighborhood. You still live, I know, Jared, you join your board or whatever. And that's still some level of struggle you have to with the landowner and the political layout in your community right now. So I don't know if that makes sense, but does it?
I'm not entirely sure what you're asking.
So I'm asking more of like,
yeah,
go ahead, Diallo.
Well, my thing is always just to be, sober in my analysis and competent. The thing I value most in anything, whatever level of the struggle we're in, is competency. I know here in Chicago, I'm kind of, I enjoyed quite some time being the darling of the city, getting called out and, being able to move people in certain directions. And it has eventually faded because, like I said, the revolutionary rhetoric was followed up by integrationist action. people trying to elevate within the status quo versus subvert the status quo. And all of my organization, all of my emphasis, every project that I propose, every organizational structure that I conceptualize or that I joined, I move towards subverting the dominant status quo. And people don't want that. The mass majority of people out here articulating revolution and even articulating hostility towards the government or various political parties, their ultimate goal is to elevate in the status quo and to better enjoy, to get a higher share of the spoils of empire. And when you take that stance, and when people kind of find out that there's no real money, fame, or status within what is being proposed, some will just leave. Some of the less principled people will leave while condemning and attacking. But that's why, I will infinitely return to the drawing board, because it is the struggle. And, you have to always reevaluate, reassess, and then re-engage. I take a kind of a bureaucratic public policy approach to this thing. And I know that part of the revolution people really don't like, but the bureaucratic and ideological aspects of the struggle have to me, I think, need the most work. And, but that is not glamorous. You're not going to get a movie made about that part of the struggle. Most people look at the armed uprising or armed engagement and stuff of that, but they always ignore the enormous amount of work that led up to that moment.
Yeah. So this little clip that I had, I think we played it before. I don't know if it was on the Remix Morning Show, but again, now Westmore is in somebody's cave in Atlanta talking to Cuddly Mike about Conversate. And as Jared said, and Andy and Renee, like, he has a lot of other shit that he should be doing right now. And so since I've been back here, I've been kind of checking in with people. And as I said before, like, one of the last contracts that I had was working with Center for Urban Families. And there was these mobility labs that he was doing with what you call that thing? Robin Hood Foundation. All those things have failed. All them things have done worse than it was supposed to have done. The elder people who are kind of older in Baltimore, they know he was using them. And then the younger people, some of them are arguing around like, well, he's just playing politics, because he has the ability, just like those talk about Obama, just like they have seen Obama here raised to this thing in Chicago and he's this person and he's back. Westmore is literally headed down that trajectory. And he's saying enough words like left, like Fred Hampton. So some of the most Pan-African revolutionary groups in Baltimore, they might even be running cover for Westmore, just because Westmore can just say this a few lines about Fred Hampton, even though he don't say anything.
And I know the rules. Because I got some initiatives I'm trying to work on. And
I turn it up.
It's a big deal, brother. Fred Hampton's a very big deal. Fred Hampton is a very big deal.
I really appreciate the fact that you started off by
prediction market trading.
So I didn't have it up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we got to pause there.
Oh, bro. I know the rules.
Because I got some initiatives I'm trying to work on.
And I would love to talk to you about that.
Fred Hampton's a big deal, brother.
Fred Hampton's a very big deal. Fred Hampton is a very big deal.
I really appreciate the fact that you started off by saying that you were making things. Oh, my goodness, man. Yo.
Contact. I will. And listen, and I'll say one thing too. And I know this is probably against the rules, but my ask to you back is, for everything you mentioned, would it be better if we chose to disengage? Is that how we change it?
Fred Hampton disengaged, brother. So did Malcolm X. Arguably, he did it because he had electoral promotions, which
100%. And I would talk to you about that. And I would talk to you about that. And I would talk to you about that. And I would talk to you about that.
So West would obviously argue that Fred Hampton didn't disengage politically. So West can call him out that, like, the dude was wrong about that. But not only did Fred Hampton engaged politically, he engaged politically in a particular way. But because he can say, Fred Hampton didn't disengage, you got some conscious community people who would say, see, even Westmore talking about Fred Hampton or whatever. But again, he's literally said nothing about Fred Hampton. And in fact, not only that, but if you check in Baltimore, the type of money and the support that he gave the FBI and the police to help lower the crime in Baltimore is the same people who killed Fred Hampton. So when he said Fred Hampton is a really big deal, I'm curious.
He told the truth. He was being honest. I'm
curious what he's gonna say after that.
He was being honest. Fred Hampton was a big deal. That's why the people Westmore teams up with had him killed, so that Westmore could exist. So yeah, he is a big deal because without killing Fred Hampton and others, there is no Westmore. Look, I do need to go and I need to start wrapping up, but so forgive the shameless promotion, but I would really encourage people to check out the interview I just did with Andy Ellis about Westmore. Andy Ellis, who's running for the Green Party gubernatorial seat here in Maryland, really did his homework on Westmore. And Westmore is a very well-trained, schooled, prepared, skillful rebranding of what it means to be Black, radical, politically engaged, and all of that. But this is a West Point billionaires summer, what do you call it? Summer camp.
Obama. It's just Obama 2.0. I mean, we're up there like 6.5. We're on like our 6th Obama at this point.
So yeah. So he's going to know how to put the spin on it, and he's going to know the references. He's going to know he's going to have the ability to dap somebody up, but and then he's going to have the ability to set up a fraudulent false dichotomy there in the first place, because that whole debate was set up with people who said they will not vote, as opposed to people who are organizing to vote in different parties or different ways, or as Malcolm X did, to differently organize the Black vote, et cetera, and so forth. So the whole thing was a bunch of fraudulence. But yeah, that's.
Can we just go out? We'll play Skip.
We got to put the poll up though.
News. That's what I'd say. We'll play Skip's vote
I gotta go. Peace.
While we all right. And we'll throw up the poll.
Yeah, my vote is not boys.
Phrasing.
Hey, I feel bad for boys, so don't vote for boys, guys. Give them a.
Are you gonna vote before you go, Geechee?
Oh, y'all ain't got boys on there. Never mind.
No, but you don't even. Why is boys not on there?
You want me to add them?
I'm muting Geechee. The echo.
Y'all want me to add boys?
Nah, we could just give him one next week.
Okay. I mean, what we play, he's done a lot of bad shit, but what we played in that video doesn't
live up to his. I might have to actually watch that interview, and then we can really assess who I'm gonna get in there. Let me vote on this. Who am I want to vote. I want to cast a vote in this.
Who you voting for? I say Jonathan Majors. I already threw one up.
Oh man. Yeah,
Kanye didn't get a vote. Jeez, I should change mine to Kanye. People love Kanye, man. Gosh. We're gonna listen to some play us out.
Yeah, let's at least put the people on to Skip, who is a true deserving living goat. Yeah.
who has to get on board before he sells out. Hey man, Bush is human.
What is there to talk about? I'm official, you not. You a dummy, he a sucker. Y'all the kettle and pot. How about this metal though? These clowns is what y'all settle for. I argue with Pinocchio. The problem is Geppetto, bro, a calico. He talking 1911. Them jackals is what I'm repping. Every man need a weapon. These suckers ain't interesting. I'm just black power and black love that's intersecting. Jesus black, fuck white folks, them my confessions. God love me, I ain't tripping and I ain't stressing. I say the round for you, you need it, come get a blessing. You can't be an alpha omega cause you ain't stepping. I am bout it. Yeah, I come from men that stand. I'm in the field and you just sit in the stands. Take that bass out your voice. If you ain't got no gun in your hand, I do what I want. If you don't even do what you can, you do what you told. I got no love for my foes. They can mimic my delivery and copy my prose.
Thank you,
but what
everybody.
they can't comprehend is how I stick to this code. It's either in you or not. It's not the kicks and the clothes. They ain't cut from the same call. Can't come from the same loom. Fitting similar shapes or even sit in the same room. Confusing authenticity with part of the costume. I'm teaching gifted children. You can't come in this classroom.
Yeah.
I guess Jonathan won something. He might not get an Oscar. He might not get an Emmy.
But when you protect the white womb, you can at least get a wody.
That's worth something.
It's worth something when you protect the white womb. You got
Shout out. I mean, if nobody else will acknowledge what you did, Jonathan, EYL, you won something. You got an award for all you've lost. We need to start sending. Jonathan Majors took it this week by a landslide. Super majority.
Congratulations, Jonathan
I think
Majors.
Kanye deserved more, but Jonathan Majors, I think that was a legitimate win. So go cop that single, prepare for the album, man, and you enjoy your week, bro.
Likewise, man. Take care.
Because I'm about to put the thing on the thing. We're going to get out of here until next week.
Getting out of here, too. Yeah, peace, everybody.
Oh, I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here on the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalist loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.